hello everybody. How are we doing? Hello. How are we? I hope we are all doing well. Happy Friday to you all. Weirdly, first stream of the week this week because I superly messed up my timings this week. I had Monday as a day off from work, so I thought Tuesday was Monday, and I thought Wednesday was Tuesday, so I had sorting out my day where one of the days I was staying later at work, and that ended up being Wednesday, not Tuesday. My whole day was all messed up, so my apologies for not streaming on Wednesday. But yes, how are we all doing? I hope we are doing good. Hello everybody. Rust here, getting in that first. How are we, Rusty? How are you doing today? How are we? And Natman, you beautiful bean, how are you? I hope you are doing well. How are we? Like Rusty is like, now is the hour we HOYAAAA together. I feel like I need to recreate like Theoden's speech, but with like HOYAAAs and painting references. I feel like I need to figure that out. That's going to be an intro to a stream.
All right, that's it. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
I love it. Thank you, Natman. Dishonor on your cow. I love it. Oh, how are you, Natman? I hope you are doing good. Verity, it's the Magic Bean Man. I hope I'm here anyway. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Celebrating my 5-year mod. I suppose, yeah, haven't we? I feel the mod anniversary one is a bit broken. I don't know why. I just feel like it is very broken. But, alas. Yeah, it's a happy mod anniversary. Let's get some celebration sounds. There we go. It's always your 5-year mod anniversary. Always perpetually 5-year anniversary. Let's do this. I'm very good. 2 weeks off as of today. Woohoo! What is your plan? What have you got planned for your 2 weeks off? Are you going away? Are you just taking some time off? I mean, it's the school holidays, so I guess you're spending time with the mini Natman. Yeah. What are you going to be getting up to? But today it is warm. It is so hot at the moment that I am slowly realizing, I'm fearing that a part on the internals of my 3D printer has actually burnt out. That is how warm this room has been getting. And whilst today I started off the day incredibly hopeful that it was a lot cooler, because it was like I was walking to work this morning and it was very overcast and it's been quite nice and chilled all day. But by the time I walked out of work, I was like, why are you now hot again? So, yeah, I think like about 50% of the country, the area of the UK I'm in, is officially in drought. And that means it is warm. Very warm. Alton Towers for 4 days? Oh, hey, and times with the kids, but I want to paint my big Mechanicus tank. That sounds awesome. I haven't been to Alton Towers in years. What's your favourite ride at Alton Towers? Which one is it? I don't even know if I can name all of the rides that are there now. I have no idea. It's warm here too. It is just really warm. Like, I don't mind the heat. It's just one of those. The frustrating part is it's really hard to do painting, especially as I'm going to be doing lots of blending and glazing. It does make it difficult when it's hot because like the brush is just dry, and then you end up it never comes out quite right. So I feel like even if we do painting today, I definitely won't be working on the Necromunda diorama because I'm at a point where I need to be doing some blends. Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen today in this heat. The Wicker Man, because it's my son's favourite and I love how excited he gets. Ooh, I like that. I like that one. I don't think I've been on the Wicker Man. I think the last time I went to Alton Towers, you're talking years ago. I remember, what was the ride? It was the one that was inside the house, and it was like the whole room spins, and it makes it look like you're upside down when you're not upside down. And things, and then there was the Nemesis. Is it Nemesis, the one that stops? No, Oblivion, the one that stops. Hex, that was it. Yes. And then I couldn't go on. Why couldn't I go on it? I went to go on the one which is like, is it Rita, Queen of Speed? But the queue was massive, and every time we walked past it, it was massive. The queue, so we were like, ugh. Yeah, I do love theme parks and stuff though. The only ride that I cannot handle in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't matter if it spins, it doesn't matter if it's loop-de-loops or anything like that. The only ride that I will not go on, which is really, really stupid, is a swinging ship. I really dislike swinging ships. I know that the centrifugal force is what's holding you in, but my brain cannot comprehend that the only thing holding me into that ship is a bar. And to the point where like I tried to get off before because it freaked me out. Like it is a really wild one. The swinging ships are the only ones that I'm not a fan of. But any other ride, I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a go once, right? I've never been to Alton Towers, but I've been to Thorpe Park. I like the one that went backwards. I've not been to Thorpe Park. I've been to, where have I been? Chessington World of Adventures, Legoland, and Alton Towers, but I don't think I've done Thorpe Park. Yeah, Rita, my mum actually came away from that one bleeding. Oh, what happened there? Like, was it just like, was it like the whiplash or of like the speed? Purple Spark, how are we doing? I hope you are doing well. Lovely to see you. How are you today? I hope you're doing good. I have several questions. The swinging ship is awesome, but then I'm God's gift to motion sickness. I don't experience it at all. It's just the swinging ship. It just, I think it is. I think it's because it's the whole bit where your stomach goes like that, and it's never a case of like I want to throw up. It's just my brain is like, get off. You have to go. My fight or flight kicks in, and it's like you have to get off the ship. Like to the point where like I've literally had like my brother try to like restrain me for my own safety because I was trying to climb out of the swinging ship because it was freaking me out so much. Yeah, it's swinging ships. Don't know why. It freaked me out. Yeah. Belreth, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Have you ever heard of the park ride, the Ultra Twister? Ooh, no, I haven't. Which one's that one? Her earrings, the gravity of the acceleration made her earring backs puncture her neck. Not too bad, but there it was. Ooh, yeah, like the. Oh yeah, God, I didn't even think of that. That sort of style. Oh man, yeah. I'm trying to think what. Have I done any other? I'm trying to think. I've done like theme parks, like when I've been on holiday and stuff. My favorite type of theme park though is like a water park. Like if you go on holiday to somewhere like like Cyprus has great ones, things like that. They're always like so much fun because you just spend your time going like up and down slides, in and out of water. There's always a different variety of things to do. I like the ones that always have the giant bucket of water. That there's one in Cyprus where the bell rings and then everybody like flocks to the middle of the park because this massive bucket of water is just tipping and it just like goes all over like this giant play area and then like dunks everybody, and it's like the force will knock you down, but everyone's like, oh, this is so much fun. It's always a good chat. And then of course I love a lazy river when you just lounging around like just like I've been in and out of like up and down the stairs a lot today. Now I'm just gonna around the lazy river. It's a good time. I do love a good water park. I think it's a lot of fond memories with family and things. That's why I love a water park. I'm doing pretty good. It's Friday. It is indeed Irene's. And I have a Veldor to paint. Ooh, that's a nice one. He's all prepared for priming now. That is a big model. And a busy model. So like I'm very excited to see what you do with that because it's one of those ones where I feel like if it's the Forge World like Constantine Valdor sculpt, I feel like it's almost a little bit intimidating because there's like so much going on. But I'm like I'm in awe of anyone who can tackle that. I think my brain just goes, I want to do everything at the same time. And my prevailing memories of Thorpe Park are an ex nagging me to go on Europe's biggest roller coaster. Only heard a wig out in the queue. Thorpe Park needing to do some pretty serious maintenance on the lake because it reeked. Oof. No, yeah, I've not done Thorpe Park. Interesting. Has it got Europe's biggest roller coaster? Time to wind down after work and ready to relax. Yes, Verity, make sure you are relaxing. Please do so. Please make sure you are relaxing. We're doing the Alton Towers Water Park too. Day 1, crazy golf. Days 2 and 3, the main park, and day 4, the water park. Ooh, that's going to be cool. I've never stayed over at Alton Towers. So I feel like that's really exciting. Like the idea that you're going to be there and you get to do everything. That's really cool. Yes, the Forge World Valdor. And indeed, yes, it is. I intend to test 2 things I've never done. Sub-assemblies and true metallic metal. Nice. Ooh, how are you doing the TMM? Are you doing it with like the Vallejo metal colours? I was looking around because I feel like I had a couple of packets over here, but I don't know if they've gone. Or are you doing something? Because I really like the ancient gold from the Vallejo True Metallics. It's really nice. Hobby-wise, I have a feeling I'm going to have to do something I've literally never done before. Step away from an army and come back to it later. Oh no! Is that just because of a lack of, like models? Or you're moving on to something else for a little bit? Or is it just, sometimes you need a breather? It was a time, it was the time, no idea if it's still this way. This was like 20, 21 years ago. Fair. So it's like, it might still be like that, it might not be. It's basically a roller coaster, but after the rise, it takes you through a long series of corkscrew spins. Ooh, that's cool. See, that sort of stuff doesn't bother me. Like roller coasters where they've got loop-to-loops and corkscrews, completely fine. I remember there was a really cool mine train at it was a place called Ocean Park in Hong Kong, and the mine train ride literally is built on the side of the cliff of the island. So there's this bit where it's like, it's not like a corkscrew, it's just like it's like a spiral, but like the spiral is fully over the rocks and the river and then the sea around the island. So it's like, it's really cool because it's like, oh no, it's like almost like gives you that fear, and it was always really good. So I'm gonna have a little pamper session to relax and do a hair mask and make the most of my free-ish evening. Hell yeah, you do that. You make sure you're nice and relaxing. You want to relax. Make sure you relax. I will try the Pro Acryl method. Ooh, I've not seen that one. Links allowed. Then I'm not link friendly, unfortunately. But feel free to drop anything you want in the Discord. I'm happy to bring it up then. At that point, but sadly, no, it doesn't. I did have the bot for the longest period of time, but it kept typing people out, so I just disabled it and went, I'm just not going to be link friendly. Many moons ago, I have tried 3 different bots since, and each of them do the same thing. So there's something somewhere which doesn't like links. I can't figure out the setting. So I've just gone, you know what? That's the way it is. Yeah, I'm running out of models from the range with plastic kits. I've probably got about 4 months left of work on the existing range. After that, if they don't do the next phase of the army in plastic, I'll have to move into either Orcs or Eldar armies and come back. Probably the Eldar. That's fair. Sometimes that's it, though, isn't it? It's like, there's nothing left, so I'll move on to something else. Which is just the way it goes. I'm kind of in a bit of a weird thing at the moment because I can't seem to figure out what to work on. Because of July has been a bit of a weird month. I've actually taken a surprisingly large amount of streams off in July, and I just because of circumstance, we had to take a week off so we could sort out some stuff, and then obviously like this week I just messed up my timings, and then the heat has not helped either. So as a result, I've got a lot of floating projects around at the moment. In terms of ones I've worked on this year, I wrote down like a list of going, this is what I want to accomplish in the next 90 days, so next like 3 months. And so far I'm kind of struggling to get through stuff because I've got some Blood Ravens to do, and I really like the Blood Ravens, but I just need to bash through them side of it. And we did Blood Ravens for about 10 streams in a row, so I was like, I wanted to move away from that for a bit. So we started working on the Necromunda diorama, which was really cool. I like the Necromunda diorama, but I'm at a weird point now where I'm kind of probably just going to park it for a little bit and just kind of work on it little by little. I've got my Custodes as well, so I need to get those done. And then on top of that, just generally some other bits. I mean, speaking of Custodes, I'm wondering if we're going to see Custodes, the big box going up for pre-order, announced on Sunday. Because I feel like the Telemon Dreadnought, a lot of people are kind of going, where's the Telemon? Show us the Telemon. So I'm quite excited for that box to potentially drop. Although I'm on a spending ban. I'm not meant to be spending money on Warhammers at the moment. So I'll be sad if it does come out. But I've just got a lot of like half projects floating around, which is not unusual for me, but it's definitely more than normal. And I'm really enjoying Necromunda at the moment because I've been reading all the articles this week. Really enjoying reading all the articles of like what happened with the Arathian succession, what's kind of going on now, what the next kind of leap in the lore is going to be for Necromunda. So my brain's like, oh, I could work on some of my Necromunda guys. But then I also can't find my template one. I did like this is my template Necromunda model, and I've got no idea where it is. So yeah, it's a weird one today. Hence why today, with it being hot, the thought process is either going to be we may play some games, or we may where's my brain at? Or we may just do some painting. I don't know. Or maybe we'll do some building. That's kind of a happy medium, which is the bit in the middle. I posted the link in the general. Oh, let me switch over to the other screen. I just realised this is how unprepared I was. Where is my... Well, that's a concern. Give me a second. I can't find my camera. You're not where I normally put you. Where have you gone? Very much visible confusion. Give me a second. Where has my camera gone? It's not in the dock. Oh, there. I was like, where's that gone? Do 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 do. Where is my thing? I'm so woefully out about it. This has been a week of just like it's been this week. It's been a week where majority of every single day I've been in like long meetings of like 4 to 6 hours sort of time periods of time of like just running various sort of training sessions or things like that. So my brain is very like, whoa. This is definitely one of the reasons my brain's a little bit squiggly. But you guys have been watching me for long enough to know that my brain is always squiggly. So I don't have an excuse. It's just my brain, it do the squiggles. That is all. But yeah, let's switch over to this camera. Then I can bring up the link that you've posted. So, and I can get the music started in the background as well. I will catch up with chat. Yeah, the spins you on the forward axis and then rises and dips. The first and last coaster I've ever been on. Ooh, feels like that was an intense one for the first one. Feels like, yeah, that was a bit of a... Here, Custodes, Lewis, paint your Custodes, then fight me, damn you. That's true. I mean, I might have to get the Custodes done for November if we're planning on doing a Warhammer World Hangout. In other news, Plastic Heresy S Basilisk followed me home from my favourite local game store. Might as well keep it, right? Add it to my Brood Brothers. 100%. Do it. I have a Necromunda kit bash planned, but it's only a matter of time before you do an associated Palooza, and I'm saving it for that. Oh, interesting. Well, we were originally going to do a Palooza in August. I'm not doing one in August. I'm just for various reasons. One of the things was I wanted it to tie in with a potential charity fundraiser we were doing, but that kind of fell through. But so the next Palooza is going to be the October Pinktober that we do every year for Cancer Research UK. So that'll be the next one. So otherwise, the next Palooza after that will be January. I think if we're doing one every 3 months, that'll kind of be where it falls. I'm intrigued to know what you think the theme might be. I'm very intrigued. Definitely time to start yet another project is what I would think. I mean, that's exactly it, Balsquig. How are you doing, Balsquig? Hope you're doing good. I mean, what else am I going to do? This feels like the right appropriate thing to do. Might as well start a new project. What have I got? What could I start right now? Many things. I've got so many things I could start right now. This year I was going to be so focused on like making sure I finished projects, but it just didn't work that way. As my brain isn't coded that way. Choose chaos, always chaos. Shrimp, welcome on in, redeeming your daily bean. How are we? I hope you're doing good. Long meetings equals brain. My brain tends to... Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's been a lot... Like, I don't get wrong. I enjoy my job. I'm very... I do it, and I very much enjoy it. And that's an area where I feel like I'm in my element. It's sort of like training people and kind of like chatting with people in meetings. But I feel like this week has just been a tremendous large amount of them. So my brain's a bit like... It sounds stressful. Quick, move to the West Country. Work on boats with me. It'll be fun. Don't you tempt me now. Don't you tempt me. Honestly, there's been many a times over the last a year or so, well, definitely the last 7 months this year, I've thought to myself, let's pack it all in. Let's pack it all in. If I could make streaming full time work as a comfortable income, by Lord, I'd be doing it. It'd be lovely. But alas, yeah, I don't think I have any experience working on boats. I'm kidding. My company can't afford you. I'll take that as a compliment. It's alright. I'm pretty cheap. Can I join? I'll work for free. I just like boats. Considering branching into piracy, which would be interesting because my vessels can't turn. It's just straight up piracy at that point then. Oh, I'm good. I'm resisting a nap. Ooh. Why are you resisting the nap? Sometimes if the nap is going to claim you, just let it claim you. You just take it. Just take it. This is what happens. Alright, let me grab the link that you posted, Purple Spark. Ooh, I've not seen this. Oh, that's a really cool way of doing it. Hold on, let me bring that up. Nope, that's not one. Yeah, I've not seen this this way of doing true metallics before. Ooh. So you begin with the burnt sienna. So you're almost starting in a sort of non-metallic metal sort of colour over there with the burnt sienna, and then going in with the golds and then the white gold. Ooh. That's really nice. That's going to look gorgeous on Veldor. That's going to look really, really nice on Veldor. I also love the fact that you just go, I'm diving on in. I feel like I'm in a similar boat with this where I have not really... I've never attempted non-metallic metal gold. And I've been toying with the idea of giving it a whirl, but not on my Custodes. I don't want to do it on my Custodes because it will look... Well, I'll have one model that looks very different to the rest of the army. So I was debating about maybe doing it on a Sister of Silence, because I know I want to put some of those in with my Custodes. But then I was like, oh, but if I have to do a squad of 10, that's a lot to do. So I was looking through my piles of miniatures and thinking, first time I'm going to try this technique, what's a good one to try it on? I've got this really lovely set, which Verity got me from Pro Acryl. This is the Flame On Miniatures non-metallic metal gold one. And I was like, oh, what's a gold miniature I have that is a standalone character that doesn't go in any of my armies, but would look really nice in that non-metallic metal? So I had to talk myself out of not starting my first attempt at non-metallic metal gold on my my Primarch Sanguinius the other day. I was like, I could do that, and then I was like, nope. But I'm also like, I could go big. I could go, if I'm gonna do it, you go big, right? That's how it works. You go big on it. But I was like, no, I'll be good. I have got the lovely Sanguinius Primarch, and I'm like, ooh. He's when he came out with the really nice base as well. What do you call it? Where's my brain? When he had the original scenic base on his first release, I was like, I'm pretty cheap. Someone saved that. Oh. Depends if shrimp needs to watch a child. Danger advice from Hobby. That is very true. That is true. And because we have slept through at least 2 baby feeds today, which means a late night for us. Oh no. Oh yeah, definitely yeah. She is napping next to me. There's at least 4 steps too many for me. I think it's gonna look really good. I can't wait to see it. Oh, that's a really good shout. Oh, actually, that's a really good idea. Where's he gone? I do want to do some Imperial agents. That's a really good shout. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna sound a bit like a hater here. I'm not the biggest fan of the new layout, the menu layout for the GW website. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I feel like I miss having the bar at the top, not just this shop discover help. I miss having the different headers for the different games. I always thought it was quite nice. Frogs! Enjoying your daily bean? How are we? How are we? Blood Brothers can take Imperial Guard Legends. I think a Warhound Titan would be a perfect. Just do a Warhound Titan, you'd be fine, right? So I have. Where are we at? Is there a? I've never actually looked at the combat patrol for. Oh no, I want Death Watch. That's what I want to do with some of these. I want to put some Death Watch stuff in here. So there's Cortez, and then I want to put some in the Imperial Agents. I want to whack some Death Watch because I've had an itching for a while to paint some Death Watch. Oh, weirdly the Death Watch aren't on here, which is really odd. There's only Artemis. The rest of them are and the Watchmaster. The rest of them technically fall under Space Marines and Death Watch. Yeah, it's just a weird thing. It's just one of those, like, when you go to the homepage, it's this at the top. Like, I get the whole shop, and then it's this sidebar. I don't have a problem with a sidebar, but I would just quite like to have some headers over here, which then has made me very critical of my own website. So now I'm like, I'm going to put the banners back on my website. We're going to do a bit of a rejig. But that is not a bad shout. Now you said that, he's a single model, and it would be quite a fun one to test. Do I hear negativity? Yes. So it wasn't even constructive. I was like, I know it was constructive. I was like, I'm not a fan of it because I prefer these bars. But okay, that's fair. Okay, I kept it constructive. I adhered to my own rules. But it yeah, this is me. Yeah, not many people like the new layout. Yeah, I don't know why they sort of shifted it. It's a bit odd. But I've just realised it's basically what I've got on my web store. So I'm going to take it here that GW are copying my website. Nice to know. Oh, you redecorated. I don't like it. I know it's very Doctor Who, isn't it? It's like, you redecorate. I don't like it. I would love the Death Watch box, but it's so expensive. It is a pricey box. I'm good. I too am trying not to fall asleep. Oh no! You need to tag team in and out. Yeah, which one of you wants to sleep? Have you ever heard of the this is probably not a healthy thing to promote, but have you ever heard of the caffeinated nap? So they say apparently this is the best way to kind of like power nap, and it is basically drink a coffee, then have a nap, and then wake up 25 minutes later, and then the coffee will kick in as you're waking up, so you'll be like super fueled. The downside for me is I drink coffee like water. Coffee has no effect on me. It's just like, I'm still tired, but now I'm fast. That's pretty much me. I am the epitome of that meme. I just like coffee. I just love the taste and just enjoy drinking it as my drink. So I feel like the caffeinated naps never work on me. I love that Artemis is in the exact pose as the Inquisitor scale model. Ooh, it is a nice model. For the longest time, it was locked behind a box, wasn't it? It was only available for the longest time in like a combat patrol. Coffee, ew, that's fair. There's the undiagnosed ADHD. Yeah, probably. Wait a minute. What do you mean, undiagnosed? It's not like I've been talking about how I can't stick to one thing and I flick around and do different things and I get easily distracted and and coffee makes me sleepy or anything. It's like, fine. Maybe you're right on this one. Undiagnosed but peer reviewed. I love it. I love it. That needs to be on a t-shirt. If you check the Veldor mod on the site, I love that there are 3 different golds on there. It will be a challenge with the armor, the eagle, and the shoulder, and the spear. Ooh, where is it? Where is the Veldor at? Shop. Heresy. Forces of the Emperor. Legio Custodes. Where are you, Veldor? There he is. Wow, yeah, there is. I didn't realize there was so many different golds on there. I can't have caffeine after 7 p.m. Otherwise, I will not sleep. I mean, I looked at my sleep score for the last like 6 weeks, and on average, I get 4 hours and 3 minutes of sleep a night, which is it's an improvement for me. The 6 weeks prior to that, I was at 3 hours and 57 minutes. So I've gained myself some sleep, which is very cool. But I feel like it doesn't matter when I drink coffee or a caffeinated beverage in any way. It doesn't matter. I'm just like, eh. It's like, wow. Yeah, I had this discussion with one of my managers the other day. I'm 43 and a diagnosis at this point isn't achieving anything. I mean, it can help. But if you get the diagnosis, then you could get the meds that make the brain go quiet. So it's strange when you see somebody with ADHD take the meds with the brain go quiet for the first time. They're like, oh, it's weird. It's very strange. And Frogs is being mean to the child. What is happening here? What are you doing? Hey, Sanjiro, how are we doing? Are we making Healy spend money? You better hit them than me. No. This is, we were looking at the model here. This is the model Purple Spark is going to be attempting true metallic metals on for the first time. So we were just admiring the prettiness. It's very, very nice. This is the one Custodes model I don't think I will pick up. Only purely for the fact of I don't know what I would do with it. It's one of those. I'd kind of like to kit bash one. But it's quite an intimidating model for me. There's a lot going on. And I feel like I wouldn't know where to put the focal point, if that makes any sense. So I worry I wouldn't do it justice. This is where it needs to be in the hands of someone far more talented. So like Purple Spark. This is where it needs to be in your hands. But yes. I'd much rather chug a tea, but I often forget about my cups. I feel that's a weird thing with cups of tea, isn't it? You're not alone on that one. I feel like cups of coffee, they pretty much, when it's cold, people just go, oh, and down it, and they're like, it's fine. But a cup of tea, if it's cold, that thing's going down the sink. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't just chug the end of a cup of tea. So if I've got, like, say, that much tea left because I forgot about my tea, like, and that's ice cold, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm alright, thanks. Whereas if that was like ice cold coffee right now or room temp coffee, I would be like, yeah, fine. I'd down it and make myself another coffee. It's very strange. So you're not alone in forgetting about the cups of teas. How are you doing though, Sanjuro? I hope you're well. Natman is lurking while I cook some Chinese pork and soy noodles. Ooh, nice. I think we are probably going to have some tortellini, maybe for dinner. I'm not sure what we're doing for dinner this evening. They have those, apparently. Apparently they have those. I think if you think it'll help give you some pieces and answers, there's always worth looking no matter what the age. 100%, yeah. If you think it's always going to... Sometimes it's more than knowing is the helpful part, isn't it? Like, you know, and then you can be like, oh, okay. And then once you know, you can then start kind of like... you start looking for like patterns in things to help. It's sometimes nice, isn't it, just to have the identifying factor. I like my brain the way it is. It hyperfixates, but that results in art. That is true. That's very true. Yeah, I can't wait to see this either. I feel it's going to look so nice, Purple Spark. I'm very excited to see it. Where are we at? Catching up here. I have his little counterpart already, the Trajan Valoris, but I want to play Horus Heresy with my Custodes. I needed Valdor. True. I haven't... I have got the... Where's the book? The book is over there somewhere. I have got my book for Custodes to build them for the new Heresy. And I do really want to do them. It's a tricky one. It's like, oh, and I probably will end up needing him, annoyingly. And I'm like, oh, you know, your brain's just a bit like, I don't know. It's like, do I need it right now? Excuse me. What is this? So, I'm readjusting the spoon so she whacks herself at the face when she wakes up. For context, she was holding a silicone spoon. I do like Trajan Valoris. Mine is... Where is mine, actually? Mine's around here somewhere. He's one of the few models I did do a little bit of Actually, that's probably the only model I've ever attempted some... I don't think it was non-metallic. I don't know what I was doing. Where has he gone? Let me find him. I'm still here. Just trying to find where this guy's gone. He would be in this box, you'd think. There he is. I remember when he first came out, I started working on him, and I did this weird thing to his cloak. I never finished him. But yeah. Hey, newbie! How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I remember I just did this... this was my Trojan. This was back when all my custodies were just kind of like Retributor armor highlighted up and washed down. I remember I got really sad. Just as I had finished priming him, he fell off the stick. And then that's where he landed on the concrete, so he got dented, and I was so annoyed. Yeah, I remember I tried to do some sort of, like, what my understanding was at the time of kind of metallic, like, gold on this Aquila at the back. I feel that's the only time I've ever attempted some sort of, like, true metallic-y gold in recent memory. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of following the light, I think. But yeah, I probably should finish these guys off at some point. I did like his axe. I'd love to have them as to turn my brain off, but this isn't an ADHD thing, that's fair. I feel like I don't know what I'd do if my brain got turned off for a bit. I feel like I wouldn't know what to do with the quiet. I feel like I'd just be like, I don't know what's happening right now. But yes. I hope you're doing alright though, newbie. How are you? How's things? But yeah, whereas I compare this to my current custodes. There's my finished custody. Where's she gone? That's my... Where did I put the custody? She over here. Did I actually... I did finish some, didn't I? I did. For some reason, I've not glued them to their bases, and I don't know why. I don't know why I've not glued them. They're finished. And the bases are done. I don't know why I've not done it. But yeah, this is very much the different sort of like colour palette. And I really wanted to force myself on these to do skin tone. It's such a wildly different colour palette on these two models. It's been really nice to do, though. But these are finished. I just need to glue them to their bases. For some reason, I have not glued them to their bases. It's wild when you put them next to each other about how like not gold they are, if that makes sense. Like the this ancient antiquated gold. I feel like it's not as huge as when you look at the tank. Now I'm just hyped about custodies. So it's like that's the tank. She's like, ooh. So I'm like, that was and that's what we've done for the bases. So we did the bases for them as well. Where did I put them all? I just need to find them all. I've lost a few of them. That's the bases we did for the custodes, where we went for the whole the marble style. I bought the train in unused and painted, but I need to make some adjustments. Oh, I've wanted to do like a hobby rescue for a while. I've got enough of my own miniatures I could probably rescue, but I feel like I wanted to just buy like a random used like painted mini and just try and do like a rescue video or something for it. It'd be really fun. I plan on painting my Horus Heresy Custodians as Shadow Keepers. Yes! Oh, yes, please do! I love the Shadow Keepers. Their lore is so cool. The guardians of the secrets in the jails underneath the Palace of Terror is so cool. And they've got like the other prison in the mountain. It's just really nice. I'm good. Just finished dinner. It's now time for a cozy Hobbytime stream and more satisfactory. Hells yes! That sounds awesome. Oh, thank you, Purple Spark. Yeah, we did this earlier this year. It's mostly just dry brushed, apart from the marble, which we did use in the old dryer sheet marble technique. The old wet wipe style, where you stretch a dried wet wipe over it and then either sponge on or airbrush on the pattern. The colours, so really, really nice. And then we added a bit of gloss to make it shiny. I probably should finish the rest of these custodes at some point fairly soon. Oh, I've somehow got like a slash across there. I feel that's being trapped on something. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, it's like a little indent there. Need to clean up the rims of this. And where's the other bit gone? I'm just trying to remember where I put the rest of my the rest of the bases. Actually, I did enough bases for every one of these custodes. Maybe that's what I can do today. I can actually glue them onto the bases for a change. That could be a nice change. Yeah, where did I put the rest of the bases? I'm probably gonna have to be a dollop of super glue, I think, because of the gloss. There you go. I can actually finish some models then, and it means I can have some photos to put stuff up, because I rarely do that. Because I feel like I hardly ever put photos of stuff up. Where are the rest of the... Let me grab my box of custodies. Maybe they're up here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So, there's another custode. Oh, there's my shield captain. I haven't finished her yet. I need to get her finished off. Where did the rest of my custody bases go? Well, they're not in the box, so I put them somewhere. I just don't know where. Oh, I mean, speaking of custodies, I could build the dreadnought. Oh, that could be something I could do today. Just thinking about things to do. Yeah, maybe we'll do some building. I feel that's a happy medium in between doing painting and stuff. Between painting and gaming. To be noted, I didn't use my magnifying glasses, and so the eyes are messed up. You don't have to worry. Nobody notices the messed up eyes. It's fine from a distance. If you look at these any closer, trust me, these are super messed up. Especially, where's the one with the really messed up eyes? I kept trying to tidy up her eyes, and they look fine from that distance, but when you zoom in, you can't unsee how weird they look. Where grab the whip. Whip, 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 whip. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I love the blue across the metal. Ooh, that's nice. Let me bring that up here. That's very nice. I like the blue tint you've done to the metal there, just to make the silver a little bit more poppy. That's so nice. Yeah, hardly any gold is used. I feel that's always nice when you see, though, like models like Stormcast, when you see them in non-gold out there instead of the standard Hammers of Sigmar colour scheme. They're always really like, oh, yay, these look like nice and different. I'm a big fan of those. Like, they always look really, really lovely. This is very nice. That's a really matte black on there. What black have you used on that? That's a very, very deep matte black. Also, like the little lightning bolts. Bzz, bzz. That's very cool. Oh, the Shadow Keepers are nice. I like the Shadow Keepers, and I also liked the ones that were white. They were in the white armor. What were they called? Like the solar something or other. I always thought they were really interesting. Where's my brain gone for what they're called? Can't for the life of me remember what they're called. The ones that like the. They look like the exemplar guys from Stormcast. Where have they gone? I've got the book somewhere around here. Where did I put the book? It's gonna bug me what they're called. There's my Custodes Codex. Custodes. Chaos Knights, Chaos Space Marines. Where's my Adeptus Custodes? Huh. Okay, it's not there, so I don't know where it is. It's gotta be somewhere. Okay, I couldn't find the codex, but I can't remember what they were called. I used the black blue from Pro Acryl. I was gonna say it looks really matte, really, really nice. I think my favorite color from the Pro Acryl range probably is the jade, and I want to do an army with the jade. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I love the. I used it the other day. Where's it gone? This Pro Acryl jade is probably one of my favorite colors from Pro Acryl. That or the copper that they do, which is stunning. Is it behind me? Where's the copper? Yeah, just the copper. I think those are my two favourite colours that I have from Procreate. I do like their titanium white. I think I've just had a bit of bad luck with it because I seem to be constantly getting one that's a little chalky. And I think I've just had a bit of bad luck from maybe it hasn't been stored correctly where I've purchased it from. But these two colours I adore. Like the teal is just stunning. The teal, sorry, the jade is lovely. But I haven't quite figured out what to use it on as a full colour scheme. Saying that, going back to the conversation we were saying about the Inquisitor overall, I could do it. I do have this chappy. I was thinking about doing something fun for Imperial Agents. I do have Inquisitor Croyle. So maybe I could use some of the jade on him. He's over here somewhere. I mean, I know that I'm probably going to start anything new today, but I feel like I'm overdue a one and done stream. I haven't done one in a while where I've been like, today I'm going to build and paint this model and we're going to get it done, and then I can't work on it until after that stream is finished. I haven't done one of those in a while. I feel like we'll definitely do one in August, probably on a Saturday or in August or something, or I might take a Friday off work and do an extra long Friday stream. Oh yeah, that could be a good time. And be like, get one and done and just smash something out. But I you know what, now you've mentioned about Cortez, I'm really intrigued to try. Would that work for non-metallic metal gold? Thank you for the idea. I hadn't even thought of him. Wait, because I wonder then if you could do... Hold on, okay. My idea is formulating a little bit. Just formulating. Because then... I mean, I know, I'm just looking at the whole selection of actual Deathwatch sculpts. Because the Deathwatch models don't have a lot of metal on them, they would actually be a fairly decent army to do some non-metallic metal on. Because I reckon you could pick out the shoulder pads in the silver. They could be non-metallic metal silver. And the arm, the silver arm. Ooh. And then the rest of the armor just being a really nice black recipe, and picking out a few little bits, like, because there's only really going to be the small details like the Inquisition symbols, everything else. Ooh. And then like he's probably the one with some of the most because he's got the spear and all. Obviously he's got a lot of metal iconography on him. Wow, he's just one sprue. Wow, that's a really interesting sprue. Now my brain is like, ooh. So I'm just like, what? And ooh, I posted my Custodes army. I use jade for my captains and purple for my normal troops. Ooh. Oh, I like. Oh, hell yes. Oh, let me zoom out. I know, I'm aware that I'm covering some of this, so let me make myself disappear a second on the big screen. Oh, I love that. You know what? Funny enough, I did a very similar thing with the whole different colours representing different characters and things. I did different cloak and different... I think I had all the plumes are red, but I did the cloaks and the shoulder pads differently. So like the Wardens had a different cloak and shoulder pad colour to the Alaris Custodians, and the Alaris Custodians were different to the Guardians, and then the Shield Captain was different again. And it could, in an army where it is just primarily one colour, you still want to differentiate them. Love that purple. That's a beautiful deep purple, very royal purple. That works really, really nicely with those. Ooh, and yeah, that jade's lovely. And over to the bikes. Ha! There's Trajan over there in the corner. If I can put him across. There's Trajan. There he is. I'll tell you what though, these spears, aren't these an absolute nightmare for transport purposes? I love the fact that on the new box of bikes, they've said that they are going to be, you can build them all like this. You don't have to have them raised on the bikes that are coming for the Heresy variant. That's made me very happy. Because they're really cool, but nearly all of mine have snapped. So I started in the end when I built my shield captain on bike with the spear. I basically just magnetized his arm. I was just like, because then I can just transport it in and out. Because it always bugged me that I could fit the entirety of my Custodes army into like a small skirmish case. And that would be like 2,500 points, because it was just infantry and a Telemon Dreadnought. That's all I had for it. I didn't have any of the other stuff. I had the bikes, the infantry, and the Telemon Dreadnought. That was pretty much my list. With it topped up with a Vindicator Assassin. So I was like, ooh. But it always wound me up that the spears would constantly snap. Love the gold on here. This is lovely. Oh, me likey. I like the base you've done on those as well. Is that like a rival crafts like dip and dunk, or is that like a scatter to base you've used? The plastic Telemon I cannot wait for. Although I will be sad to say goodbye to my well, not goodbye to. I'm interested to put it side by side with my Forge World Telemon. I've got my Forge World Telemon right here, who I never actually finished painting. He's very heavily magnetized. This chappy is. I did like the Telemon, but he had a bit of an accident when he fell off a table the other week, a few years ago, and I lost one of the Aquila heads on him, which was always very sad. Yeah, he's got the different weapons magnetized on. Love the fists. And I've got his base somewhere. His base looks like a giant cookie. This is the only way I can describe his base. I don't know where I've put it. Where's his giant cookie base? I feel like Nick from New Girl. I got your cookie, gave me cookie. Got your cookie, gave me cookie. With the I don't know where it's gone. More. I just found more of my other bases. It'll be here somewhere. Man, my place is an absolute mess at the moment. Is that over here? Just checking it wasn't on the windowsill. No. It's fine. Where's the cookie? Oh, I do need that craft knife though. Oh no! Oh, that's so annoying. My super glue has been on the windowsill for like 3 days in the heat. I'm hoping it's not fully dried out. Yeah, it should be fine. I didn't know why it was over there. Tell him, Father, make me beautiful. It's such a nice sculpt. I'm so excited for the plastic one though, because my army list was literally just it was Trajan Valorous, a shield captain, and then it was 3 squads of 3 Custodes, each one where one had a storm shield and blade, and the other 2 were spears. A squad of Sagittarium Custodes, which I kit bashed out of. Let me just grab the box. Come here, you. This is my very lovingly stacked pile of minis. Yeah, so I kit bashed them out of. Where are we gone? Where are we gone? Try and find you all. There's just a pile of other stuff on here I'm just trying to move. Because I don't think the Sagittarium Custodes exist anymore. I'm hoping they come back. So I kit bashed them out Stormcast Castigators. And some of the Vanguard guys which had guns. So the Sagittarium Custodes were always cool. This was my early attempts at marble on here. Where I was drawing on. I really liked these because they're a Custodes squad that had just a really good bolt weapon, and it could fire as like a disintegrator beam or like a pretty decent bolter. And they were really nice. They were a really, really nice squad because they added a little bit of much needed range to the army, and the actual sculpts for them are really nice. If I can find them. Sagittarium Custodes, where's the official sculpts? Yeah, they're not really a thing anymore, sadly. They got legended. Where's the thing gone? Yeah, I really liked them. This is what the Sagittariums were. I was always a big fan of them. They would just looked very... Because they had no plumes. They just had this kind of like shorter, stubbier helmet. And I just quite liked the fact that they just had this nice... And it was just an upgrade kit. It was a plastic Custodes kit. And you just upgraded it by buying the weapons and helmets. It was just a Sagittarius upgrade kit. You could buy them as a full kit, but they just literally gave you 5 bodies from the normal Custodes set. The plastic one. So they went really well. So this was the standard kit, and then I just made mine out of Stormcast and Castigators. Hey, Johan, how you doing? How are we doing? Yeah, these are pretty much... So most of this is Stormcast body. These were the ones where they came in gold. So you bought like a... It used to be you could get a pack of 3 easy build Castigators from the Sacrosanct Chamber for like less than a tenner, because they were like an easy build intro pack. So I just bought one of those, and then literally just the gun is the weapon. Yeah, the weapon arm is from the... It would have like the little nub at the end of it. Where's it gone? Where is it? There's the where's the casket? Easy build. Build Castigators. For some reason I've got all caps on. No, it makes a difference. Where are we? There they are. Yeah, it was this box. The easy build Castigators. And you can see where like most of the pose comes from on these guys. And they had like... These were them. So all I did is I just took the those guns, snipped the end off and the bit of the bow, filed that down, and then just kind of used the poses with swapped them with various Custodes parts. I really like the robes they had on them, which was really cool. I think the one that probably had the most kit bashing, if I remember looking at these 3. Obviously, that one was pretty much the guy at the front, and I just literally swapped a head and shoulder pad, and then whacked on the side bits and the Misericordias. Across the back where he had a thing I had to shave off. And then these 2 were the torsos from... this one is the torso from a Custodes, but the legs from a Castigator. And then this one is pretty much just a Custode. The only thing he's got is he's just got the hands of the Castigator to try and hold the weapon, which is a little bit cumbersome, but... Yeah, I get you. They look a little bit less, yeah, with the Stormcast bodies. They were such a good kit bash. And we did, the other one we did for the Stormcast was the Blade Champion. This is another Custodes kit bash I did. This is the Knight Errant from the Knight Questor, the Knight Questor, which is the Warhammer World exclusive Stormcast. And I turned him into a Blade Champion. Because I thought it was really cool because he's got the big sword and then he had the little sword sheathed at the back. And again, a pretty simple kit bash because it's literally just one shoulder pad and a helmet swap. Adding these side pieces and then this bit at the back, he had this kind of like gem, so I just basically built around it just to put a bit more of a... Not like a backpack. It was very cool. And I never got to field him. Never put him on the tabletop. Because I don't know what happened. I think I just... Oh, it was when I did that, my LGS moved. So it literally moved like 2 doors down. But when they moved, they didn't have space for gaming tables. So my Warhammer store, and that was the main place I played. So I was like, aww. But I was like, no. But it was really fun. Thank you for the compliments. But yeah, I definitely want to get through my Heresy Custodes. I probably should finish my original Custodes army, but there's no worry about that. Finished work and arrived at my friend's house. I'll be dog-sitting their corgi whilst they're in a weekend holiday. Oh my, that's lovely. I love that. Thank you for the lurk, Purple Spark. Oh, corgi. I mean, you know the rules. If you have consent to do so, please share pictures of pets. Put them in the Discord. I want to see. I took the funniest picture of Milkshake today, actually. I'll show you guys this. So to give you kind of like a layout of our like flat, is basically we're a first floor flat, but we have access from the ground floor. So we have our own like entrance, and when you walk in, there's a little hallway, and it's straight up the stairs, and you're in our flat. There's no like a secondary door or anything. And up the stairs, basically what has always been the case, Milkshake sits at the top of the stairs. It's his favourite place to sit. And whenever we come home, he just pokes his head round this wall, and he's just like, meow, meow, hello, meow, meow. He's very loud. He's like a yappy dog when we come home. It's the best way I can describe it. Today, he did something completely lazy. He was asleep, and he was like laying on his side completely. And rather than actually stand up and poke his head round the wall, he decided to basically just lay there and go, sup human. He's just meow. Like, father. He didn't even bother getting up, and it was adorable. The little cutie. Oh, but yeah, we all love him. Bless him. He's just such a little cutie. No. He's like, meow, meow. My brain now cannot stop thinking about the idea of potentially doing that Cortez model in non-metallic metal gold. I said I wanted to try it, and I've not got around to doing it. But before I do anything, let's glue these custodes to their bases, shall we? Because I haven't done that yet. And the tricky bit I have is... Oh, I know why I didn't glue them to the base. I remember why I didn't do this. It was because I hadn't quite decided how I was going to do the base for the Custodes tank. Until I had nailed out the base for the Custodes tank, I didn't want to do solid marble bases in case I wanted to add ruins or anything to it. And I hadn't, but I think it's going to be fine. I think it will be fine. I think I'm going to do... I think this is kind of like marble... Like a marble piece of terrain is like falling down. But then I think the actual Custode tank will go... I think I'm just going to make this like Astro Granite or something maybe. But I don't know then if that will work next to these guys who are going to be stood on like shiny gloss marble. I don't know how that's going to quite look. So I'm just going to have a look at... I'm just going to kind of like dry fit them to get some ideas of what these will look like. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because there's marble on the tank. Pigs in chat. Yeah. Pet chat. Pets. I feel like I'm probably overthinking it. Yeah, I think I'm probably overthinking it. Because, like, for example, the shield captain, her base, do I make that section in the middle marble and this base marble, and then that looks like rubble? I am unsure. I almost want them looking there a little bit more on the defensive rather than the attack. Pick is in the pet chat. I want to see pics. I want to see pics of pets. Pets. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, it's just a little paw. It's a little paws and a little hi. And it's like tennis ball for scale. It's such a cutie. Oh. It's absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable. Frodo! Oh! Stop! It's so cute. It's so cute. Oh! And your dog sitting for the weekend. That feels like a good. That's a good time. Like, oh no, I've got to look after a dog for the weekend. Oh no. Like, I feel like it's been a long time since I've had a dog. Since I last had a dog, I've had 2 cats. and 2 hamsters since I last had a dog. The last dog I had was we had a pug, and he was adorable. So yes, indeed. But I did bring along Morty, so she's not left alone either. That's fair. Oh, so cute, so cute. Yes, I feel like I need to do. I'm gonna properly schedule the next like show your pets showcase, because I feel like we need everyone to show off their pets. Yeah, I feel like it needs to happen. Pets. Yeah, we'll put it in. We'll be like, today's special Sunday showcases. Show us your pets. Yeah, I still can't quite crack the so much milkshake fluff on this tank. What to do for this base? Because I feel like if it's the statue of the like, say if this is a wall in maybe the Imperial Palace or something, I feel like they would have the Emperor depicted on these lovely like marble like facades that then one of them is just crumbled like it was a gate. But then I'm like, should that be gold instead of marble? And then this would be marble, or should that be? Imagine this is kicking down like it's going over like I don't know. I can't quite figure it out. It's bugging me. Could be a Friday. We could definitely do a Friday showcase. Well, there has been a request to bring back the whip showcases, where we chat about whips and people can, ask questions, and we'll be like, oh, yeah, we could give that feedback and stuff on whips. And I feel like I might bring those back on a Friday, which could be kind of cool. So we do a lot of whips on a Friday. No, we used to do whips on a Wednesday, and then do finish models on a Sunday. But the downside of the whips on a Wednesday is because it's such a shorter stream. It is just the stream. It's just to go through whips. So there's nothing else to be done, like, because it's only like a 2-hour stream. So I wasn't quite sure 100% what to do. But I think I was thinking of bringing them back like every other Friday. It was like a whip Friday or something. But yeah, which would be cool to do. I think it would be quite fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think. This is what's paralysing me on working on my custodies in the minute. This base, I cannot for the life of me figure out what the right route to do is. And I'm really overthinking it, and it's really bugging me. Because the rest of the models I'm really happy with and stuff, but I just can't quite crack the base. And I just need to kind of commit to a path. And the path, yeah... TGIFs, thank God it's Friday Showcase. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, yes. That's it. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that one. Ooh. You are a marketing genius, Rarity. I feel like my brain is telling me do the base marble and do this like a different colour. I think maybe. Could do matte black marble? That is very true. I did experiment with some other marble colours the other week when I was doing the bases. So I did obviously standard marble base. I tried like a full metal marble, but it definitely didn't work because it just wasn't strong enough. And then I tried to do marble that ended up looking like lava. But it's actually quite cool. I tried to do like what would be like warp touched marble look, like as if it's like warp magic. And I was actually, that's a really cool way to do lava. But I feel it's not quite crackle lava, it's more like magical fire. Like that would be cool as like a I don't know what it would be cool as, but I did have some fun with different marbles. I did do a black marble. I don't know where it's gone. Trying to think. Black marble's not going over it. So you think what? Do this as black marble, or do the base as black marble? I suppose yeah. The flat bit matches this stuff, right? That's the whole point. The black bit matches that. I was more nervous. Is it too much marble because the tank has marble on it, and is that why I'm overthinking it? Which is why I originally added this to kind of like break it up a bit. Where did I put the bit of plastic? Oh no. I don't know where the little stand is for this. Where did I put the little stand? I'm knocking things over now. I'm getting clumsy. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I'm like... Because that's where it'll sit. Yeah, because my thought was either, like, do the same antiquated gold. So it looks like it was, like, big golden doors that had been, like, smashed down. And, like, with the Emperor, like, depicted on it. And then at one point I did debate about painting... leaving the Emperor silhouette marble, but then painting the rest of it gold, which I thought could be kind of cool. I think it's because it's got these like rivets. I kind of figured this would look nice as a gold. Just trying to think. So darken down the marble bits, the broken bits. If you want to break them apart a bit at the top, on top of that, brush some Azurum and blue contrast paint from one side to give it a shade. Ooh, that could be kind of nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think how to... trying to get my brain around this. Just broke a chunk of that marble off. Right, before I do anything, let me get rid of all these bits of fluff before I do anything. Staring at this now. My brain's overthinking it. That's the downside I've got. Whenever I look at this base, because I can't have a definitive direction to go, my brain is like, ah, if that makes sense. That's where I'm really struggling. I don't think I have any Azurum blue contrast. No, I mention it. Just looking around what I actually have available at this moment in time. What do I have? What? Just look at what dark contrast paints I have. Black Templar. Nothing that's called Basilicum Grey. And there's no harm in me going back over it if needs be. Let's try the black. I'm kind of intrigued by the idea of black contrast paint. Any blue or bluish turquoise would do, as it's a complementary colour to gold. True. Bluishy turquoise. So explain the different options again. Maybe we can do some mock-ups of the different ways to see how it looked pre-ruin to work out. What no, that makes sense. Yeah, I think the idea is what would it look like if the rubble, if these broken bits here. The options I've got in my head is one, do them gold but leave the Emperor kind of a marble, as if he was like the marble that was decorative, but the rest of the door was like gold, like the aged gold of the tank. Is option one. The other option would be to do these as like a black marble. So we just cover it with like a contrast. Is what Johan's recommendation was there. Picking out some of the gold if needs be, and then maybe put a tint of blue, like a blue shade. Yeah, something my brain can't figure out. If that helps. With the mock-up styles. Either way, I'm gonna have to put the. I'm gonna have to make this all shiny. So. So what I need to do. It's like the only place the tank can fit is there. So that's the only place that can go. Okay, so I just need to make sure I mark that out before I forget. Oh no, where did I put the pencil? I'll use the pencil. I've used it somewhere else. That's fine. I'll use her. That's fine. That's the only place it can go, so it's pretty solidly going there. Yeah, where did we land on giving Valdor a Jar Jar head? Always. Always. Got it always there. That's why magnets are our best friends, right? I still think though I've got the Balrog to do, the Jalrog. I need to finish that. Then the next Jar Jar up is the Lionel Jar Jar Sin. After that, I think I want to revisit Middle Earth for Jar Jar styles, because I still love the idea of either doing a Mamuk as Jar Jar or the Fell Beast and Witch King as Jar Jar. I feel like those are my next two like options I want to do. But there's also a little bit in the back of my head that wants to do a Mecha Jar Jar. So you're talking like a something, I don't know what, just something really like big. I want to do like a big Jar Jar, which is where my brain's going to like Mamuki. I'm trying to think, where's the Mamuk gone? Shop, Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings Evil. Where are you at, Mamuk? Taking him away. Oh wait, is the Mamuk not under evil? I thought it was. Oh, there it is. It is. I'm just blind. Yeah, so my thought process was for one of the other Jar Jars would be hear me out for the Jar Jar. I've got very distracted. Winged Nazgul, but as the Witch King with Fell Beast. But the Fell Beast's face is Jar Jar. Okay, so hear me out for that one. Like, looking at the sprues, it's going to be not as difficult as I think it's going to be. It's just the neck, and it's just this face. Thinking like the face is Jar Jar. Or Big Jar Jar. Go really big. Big Jar Jar. I'd have to do a lot of sculpting with green stuff. But I feel like I would just shorten the trunk a bit. And then to be like his mouth. And then maybe do the extended, do like a long tongue to represent the trunk. But I feel he's already got the ears. And then I'd have to basically have the eyes like... I just love the idea that it's going to go... And people are going to look at it. And at first glance, they're going to go, oh, cool, Mamuk. And then go... What? We shall help to find the ring. We shall do so. That's the goal. Alright. Maybe this is too much deep, but is there any historic styles that influence them? What, for the Custodies? I think they're very much kind of like... I think the Emperor is kind of like... I think if you go far enough back in the Emperor, because they're like the Emperor's like influence is basically is high over them. He's more Turkish royalty, if that makes sense. It's a lot of kind of like inspired by lots of marble, lots of very kind of like lots of gold, lots of gems, but also kind of like a lot of carvings, almost like when you see like ancient Greek, sort of like not quite mosaics, that sort of style. But yeah, but like carved into marble, or carved into like walls, lots of carvings, which kind of almost like those influences you can kind of see from like the border between sort of ancient Greece and sort of like Turkey, that sort of style. To be fair, almost Trojan would be kind of the way that my brain kind of looks at the Emperor a little bit. Yeah. Right, should we give this a go? Should we darken this down? Let's go. Do you want to go? Should we just go pure black, but thin down, or should we go like grey? Okay, let's go black. Let's go black. We're gonna darken it. We'll go all the way, right? Jar Jarkle. That's the thing. That was like the. It could be really fun. All the different Jar Jars. Right. Let's try and do some black contrast on here. But I am gonna thin it with. How many contrast medium? Technical Storm Shield. Technical Storm Shield. Oh, my cable's stuck. I'll put it over here. Lamium medium. Contrast medium. Contrast medium. Was very dry. I don't know if there's much in there actually. I think that's fully solid. What's everybody working on today, though, by the way, folks? I didn't ask. How rude of me. How rude. Oh, yeah, that contrast medium is solid. That is dried out. Hear me out. A winged fell beast with a Jar Jar head and the Nazgul riding it. That was the other idea. That was the other idea we had. That was the other idea. Take this guy. It was this guy, but leave the Witch King as is, but change the Jar Jar to the Fell Beast face. I feel like that could be really funny. Yeah, based on that info, I would go for a lot of gold. Yeah, feeling like that might be the. What I might do here is I might try the black marble first, because if the black marble doesn't work, I can paint over this gold. I feel that's the backup plan. So I feel, because that way at least I can kind of give this a whirl and see how it looks. So I feel like that might be the way we attempt this. And then in worst case scenario, we just go, oh well, we're just going to do gold now. No sad, how are we doing? I hope you're doing good. You wise, Mr. Hobbytime. Nah, I'm not wise. I just made a lot of mistakes. How are we doing, no sad? I hope you're doing well. How are you? Let's just thin down the contrast a little bit, just to give me a bit more play. I probably should get a bit of a better brush. See how this comes together, shall we? It's going to go over the... I'm going to leave the other bits. Dun, 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 dun. This is the downside of using a paint that dries pretty quickly. Is that it's so warm in here, it's drying so fast. It's almost drying faster than I can manipulate it. Let's grab that on there. I don't like the fact I've got my brush strokes in here because of how quick it's drying. There isn't much I can really do about that. It's just what it is, right? On there, that'd be like the blackish marble. We'll see how that dries. I was in Lithuania for a spell. Ooh, I hope you had a nice time. How many of you tuned in? Because I was almost certain the internet router was a copper wire and the power supply plugged into a hot dog left over from the fall of the Iron Curtain. I'm still not convinced it wasn't. That is fair. That's all right. Did you have a good time? And welcome back. I hope you had a really nice time over there. It's not been a part of the world I visited, Lithuania. Would you recommend? Yeah, I visited a lot of that part of the world, but not Lithuania, surprisingly. And yeah, no, that's annoying. I managed to pick that out, luckily. I did. It was pretty. Villain, this is gorgeous. Bring a raincoat just in case. I mean, you know what? I hope you brought some of that rain back with you if you're back to the UK, because lordy, we need it. It is very, very warm, and very dry, with over 50% of the country technically being in a drought. I hope there is I hope you brought some rain back. It is needed. At the very least, for all the hay fever sufferers out there who, I feel like at the moment are just waiting for like a bit of a rain purge, just to clear out all the pollen in the air. Bless them. Like, please take it away. And do. Ooh, I did not pack rain clouds in my suitcase. In fact, I got rained on a lot. We want some rain. Bring us the rain. Yeah, I don't quite know if this is going to work out with the black marble. Not without having to, I think, go back over some bits and really amp up some of the under marble colours. Yeah, I'm not hugely convinced. I'm aware it still needs a bit of work. I feel like it's not really taken the marble colours underneath. Yeah, I think I'm going to go... I think I might just go for the gold. But I could amp up the gold in areas, but I'm like, my brain's thinking, then go for the epically large amount of gold. I'm working on some interceptors right now, so the entire transition from 10th to 11th was fun shake-up, but the data split update threw every single army of mine out of alignment. Oh no! What did you miss out on army-wise? What have you had to switch up? I have yet to build a 11th edition list, so luckily nothing of mine has been thrown out of whack because I haven't built anything. So, but I'm aware I want to get playing soon. And I think my plan will be, I'm hoping the Custodes Codex comes out pretty early on in the edition. That's what I'm hoping for. Which would be really nice to see. Grab the tank again. Just want to see how this looks with like a block colour underneath it. I'm very aware I still need to add the gloss. I feel like you see so little of the base. I'm really over worrying about this. Minor point increases for everything, but we're still creeping past the point where things weren't sustainable. Like a 225 points over nearly every list I had, but not to be dissuaded. That's true. That's fair. Is that like what you're thinking about dropping down, like, to make the lists work? Also, I like that you're working on Inceptors. Inceptors are a really slept-on unit. that people don't really like the sculpts. I really like Inceptors. The idea that they were like a Primaris Gravis armored jump unit, I really like the idea of them. I was a big fan of them, and I bought a lot of them for my Blood Angels, and they've all got wings. So I've got ones with in the initial box they came in, where they had the twin heavy pistol thing, bolters like in each hand, and then the ones that had the plasma, they were my absolute go-to unit, because the plasma ones would always deep strike in like turn 2, and just basically their goal was just take out any unit that's nearby, like on that turn, drop in, bang, 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 and it was great. I don't know why that contrast bit is taking forever to dry. Overhauled everything, deleted everything I'd made for my Shadowmark and Vengeance host, utilizing Storm Speeders and HMG Interceptors. Heavy machine gun. I don't know the right way around to do this. You can tell how dry it isn't here. A paint I've not used very often is fully dry. Oh no. It's a very warm. It's very warm. Let's have a bit of a play. So, yeah, I feel like I went too heavy with the contrast, which is why the black marble hasn't quite worked. I think my plan now is to replace the areas that are in black with a gold, thinking that the doors would be a really nice big gold door with some marble carvings on it. I think it's probably going to be the way to go. And then I can gloss over all this stuff underneath. Well, I can glue the base on, gloss over everything, and then just let it dry. I think that's probably the right move. Build up on the gold. I mean, even if it's not the right move, it's the move I'm doing. I think it's probably going to be the move. I'm hesitant, but I think that's probably going to be the right stance. Now the downside I've got is I have dry brushed on the gold to make it this kind of like nice rusted kind of est effect. I kind of need to follow that same pattern, which is brown underneath followed by a dry brushed on to make it match. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to remember what colour I dry brushed the brown underneath with. I think it was cuirass leather. I think. I'm now unsure. Can't remember what I did. What did I do for these models? Gotta start writing my recipes down. Oh, hold on, no, I think I did. Hold on, I think I did write this recipe down. I'm not 100% an idiot. Where are we at? That's me. Excuse me. Woo! Where is my things for the gold? No, I wrote down dark brown. That was not useful. Was it scabbard brown or was it cuirass leather? Let's go cuirass leather. Theory is a 6-man squad has an 18-inch of range. They get Assault 2, Sustain 2, damage weapons with a Strength 5 profile that has 3 attacks. If I can remove the enemy's benefit of cover with the Hail Strike or Hammer Strike Speeder, Stunning Fusilier that gives me the boosts my interceptors to a 3 attacks, 2+, strength 5 profile weapon, -3. That's 18 shots. That means, yeah, most of the time you should be able to get them out. They have enough range to outmaneuver Infiltrator's Deep Strike Denial, and speeders are fast enough to get in close. Now, I like the idea of that. A really fast attacking kind of Custodes force. Not Custodes force, a fast attacking Marine force is nice. He did for Stormhawks as well, so that's the White Scar's successor? Is that the one I was thinking of? That sounds like it would be really nice. A really fun way to play Marines that aren't usually used that way, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think this is probably the... Oh no, really? The one part of my wet palette I just happened to put this brown on happened to be right on top of a pool of water I didn't see was there, so this is now a very thin paint. Okay, well, I'm going to make it work. Additionally, the Phobos Captain. Oh, I love a Phobos Captain. I think it's one of the nicest Captain sculpts we've had. The Phobos Captain. I think he's very understated. Like, he's not in a flashy pose. He's just kind of stood. He's got the little servo skull next to him. The flowing cape is really, really nice. I think he's one of the nicest Captain models we've had in a long time. Oh no, this hasn't quite worked out. Let's put 3 infantry units into reserves regardless of what's already there, so I can limit my losses. Maximize damage, that's fair, and at least in the first couple of rounds you've got a pretty good opportunity then to get stuff in and out. I do like the Phobos Captain though. Painted mine donkeys ago, and I really, really like the Phobos Captain. This is very old paint up of mine. Really like it. Big fan of the Phobos model. This is going to be tricky. Thinking about which bits of this would be marble and which would have been carved in to be like, oh, this is a really nice door. I'm trying to think of less orthodox lists. I think that's a nice way to look at it. Kind of use the models that people don't expect to see, especially if you're not fussed on kind of playing a hyper sort of like meta focus. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're attending tournaments regularly, there's always going to be a standout list that plays really well. But I think I'm a bit like that. I always like looking at different lists. Like when Custodes first came out there, and they were really big in 8th edition. The big thing that everyone was running them for was everyone kept saying like, oh, you just got to run bikes. You've just got to run nothing but bikes. So I intentionally ran as few bikes as possible in my list, to the point where a bunch of my lists didn't have any bikes at all. It was just lots of infantry, lots of very small squads that are very unassumingly quite, oh, that should be easy enough to take down, and you realise actually just how tanky the squads are. Same with Tyranids. My first time I created a Tyranids army, the amount of people who kept coming up to me going, oh, where's your Flying Hive Tyrant? I was like, oh, I'm not running one. And they're like, you have to have one, your list isn't going to work if you don't have a Flying Hive Tyrant. So in my stubbornness, made every one of my Tyranid lists without a flying Hive Tyrant. Just to prove like you're not beholden to something being a good data sheet. You can still have fun and have a bit of fun with the list. And it was fun. I just ran lots of Termagants, just spawning out loads and loads of Termagants and Hormagants. It was really fun. Like, it had it. It definitely could have done with the Hive Tyrant, to be fair, but I was like, that's not the point. Being stubborn. No, I do like a fun random list. I'm always the same when it comes to trading card games as well. One of my favourite things was to run a really random list no one was expecting. Especially Yu-Gi-Oh! I was a big fan of like running an unorthodox list. Like, I remember having a lot of fun turning up to just a local event, and at the time everyone was like, Graveyard Destruction was what everyone was running. Either Graveyard Destruction or Graveyard Recursion. So the whole point was put everything in the graveyard and bring it back. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to run the deck that turns off the graveyard. Everyone was like, what? And like the amount of people I would just flip over like the trap card Macrocosmos. And they would go, right, cool, nothing can go in the graveyard now, it's all removed from play. They would just go, I quit, I'll walk away, like my deck will just fall over to this. And I was like, why? Play, surely you've got to have something, some sort of counter to this. You can't just roll over when it happens. But because the games were so fast, always were in Yu-Gi-Oh! It was very much one of those people like, yeah, no, I ain't gonna get around that. It was like, it was always fun. So then I was like, okay, well, how can I make use of this deck without just like turning off someone else's deck unnecessarily? I mean, against any other matchup, my deck was pretty useless. It just happened to be this is what everyone was running in the meta, so I just was like, let's disrupt the meta. It's always fun. On there. Tau suffered pretty horribly with the update. Everything got a good big points increase and additional costs, but they're good weapons. In the middle of me wallowing in my own self-pity, I did pick up a Tide Defense Shield. Oh, I like that. The Defense Shield wall's so much fun. It's such a fun thing to use. Like, I just a table with those defense walls is so just fun to play. Like, I love the idea of like siege games. If you've ever played those like Friends, where you go, right, one of us has to basically, it's like defend a base, and like the person defending has like breach wall, like turrets and stuff like that, but they have say like 2,000 points, and then you play against 2,000 points armies of people trying to take down your walls and like siege, and it's really fun. Let's get that. If it's not enough to destroy half the map, but at least it'll be talked about for generations. It doesn't move very far or fast, but I can put 20 breaches in this 15 wound fortification and move it 14 to 16 inches in Montcar. Dismount, maybe get 70 plasma shots with the plasma shot. I love the idea of that, though. The thing about that as well is I love the fact that it is a threat. You put that on the table, and the first thing your opponent's going to do is like, right, well, I've got to unleash a mammoth load of stuff into that turret, otherwise it's going to wreck my army. And that's always really fun. Same as putting a monolith on the tabletop. It becomes a big target, because people are like, I want to get rid of that because it looks like a big threat. And more often than not, that's its whole purpose, is to be it's not necessarily a threat, it's more of a psychological threat. You go, big thing, must kill the big thing. Whereas, you know, in Necrons, the big threat is just Necro Warriors. Natman! Welcome back, my friend. How we doing? You have returneth. How was your Chinese food? Your soy and pork noodles? Hoping my opponent is too busy processing what the hell is this monstrosity, while my twin lance tip goes to the other side of the board. That's kind of it, isn't it? You're either going to get people are going to ignore it and pay the price for ignoring it later, or they're going to focus on it because it's like, I don't know how to deal with this. That's the fun part of running unorthodox lists. You kind of have to make your opponent think a little bit, which is sometimes it's like when they're so used to kind of like not necessarily mirror matching, but they're used to playing a particular type. You kind of go, roll and I've got to focus a little bit here. But yeah, welcome back, Netman. Very good, thank you. Weird meal. We just put the holiday at the dinner table for next year. That's a first meal. Ooh, anywhere fun? Efteling theme park in Holland. Ooh, that sounds really cool. Man, I want to travel more. I used to be very fortunate to travel quite a lot, and don't get me wrong, we're very grateful for that last year we went on our honeymoon to Japan. It was phenomenal, but it's kind of made me realize that was the first time we've really traveled in probably 5+ years, and it's kind of really given me the itch to be like, I always had. Like, Sam might have said a bit weird, I've always had itchy feet growing up. Like, I've always been one of those ones where I've always moved around a lot, and there's never really been, like, a problem with that. But this is probably the longest I've stayed in. This is definitely the longest I've stayed in one place. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a very nice place to live, but I'm just very, like, getting that urge, that weird urge just to kind of move a bit. It's a strange urge, but when it hits, it's a hard one to shake. And I'm hoping to shake it by just, like, maybe booking in some travel in the next year or two. There's a solid chance I may be able to melt a repulsor in next use and a half. Surely they'll have to notice that. That's what I'm thinking. They'll probably notice it. I think there'll be some people who will probably go, yeah, I'll ignore that for now because if it's slower movement, but then they'll go, well, you're going to pay the price for that later for the shield defense wall. With how much more heavily terrainy the boards are now, will you be impaired much movement-wise for something that large? Or is it not going to be much of an issue? Yeah, I've often said if it weren't for the family, I'd be in British Columbia by now. Fair. Take the family with you. Do it. I think it's definitely one of my biggest, the biggest privilege I've had of my life is growing up abroad. I think, I've kind of had is the idea that I got to experience other cultures, and I loved it. Growing up and being abroad, it was fantastic. I feel like I would encourage everybody to travel and see as much of the world as you can. So it's like, yeah. That's it. Definitely one of the nicest things, one of the biggest privileges. Obviously, the biggest privilege being meeting my wonderful wife and marrying her. So very says. But living abroad, growing up abroad, and experiencing that is a second. But yeah, you'll accept my cringe. All of you will. All of you will accept it. I hope Verdi set their bright red right now. Where are we at? My wife won't leave her sisters. We're very firmly rooted here. Fair. That's a fair point, I suppose. I think that's one of a lot of my family is. I wouldn't say nomadic, but like a lot of my family is scattered all over the place. So I feel that's why I've probably been quite probably had that kind of itchy feet style. You know, I've got family living in other countries. I've got family living in different parts of the country. I think my closest family member is my brother, and he's half an hour away. 20 plus miles away down the road, which isn't very far. But at the moment, I don't currently have a car, so it does hamper me being able to go and see him. It's 525 if I want a Cold Star Commander, 515 if I want an Enforcer, or 450 if I keep it in the Ethereal background and the backline. Ooh, keep the Ethereal with the troops. That's not too bad then. If you put that in with the breaches, don't they get bonuses for having the Ethereal nearby? Not marry me? How rude! I didn't say that. A good save. Okay, fair. And was there too much of a pause between it? My apologies. Love you. Travel is great. Canada taught me how patient people could be. Jordan made me realize what real poverty is. I realized my big walking shoes are an unobtainable goal for some people in this world. It's fair. I think that's it, isn't it? Just experiencing other cultures and just kind of realizing. I think not in a slightly depressing way, because this might come out as slightly depressing. It is one of the best things about traveling and seeing other parts of the world, whether it's just in a holiday or if you're staying there for with family and friends or living abroad generally, is you kind of realize it gives you an appreciation for what is you have, but also makes you realize that there are other options. Like there's so many I've got so many family members who have just decided, you know what, we're going to up and move to a different part of the world just to have a different style, a different lifestyle. And there are things that they do trade off and they do kind of miss, but then on the flip side of it, they're like, they won't ever leave places like Australia, New Zealand, Cyprus, other parts of the country that parts of Europe. They won't move away from those places because they're like, the lifestyle, whilst you may not earn potentially as much money, or there might be some things that you kind of miss, the lifestyle is so different, and the upside of traveling so many other places like Namaz there is you can kind of see the other side of that, kind of. You can make you appreciative of what there is in the UK versus not necessarily just being, there's a better chance of escaping. It's kind of one of those. Let me just grab some kitchen roll. Need some of that for the dry brush. Hey, Solitaire! I printed some Mega Gargants. They need some filling, but they look cool. The fourth one failed as I was too ambitious and I tried printing the whole without hollowing. Ooh, yeah, the weight of it. Unless you've got lots of heavy support, that would probably fall off. I am really struggling with my printer at the moment. I'm slightly worried something internally is burnt out on it because I've had like a fan aiming at it to try and keep it cool. But I've come down to two conclusions with my resin printer at the moment. One is that something's functionally wrong internally, or two, it got so hot in this room, the resin itself has become spoiled because of how hot it was in here. So I've ordered myself a couple of new bottles of resin. Once that arrives, I'll be able to test the printer thoroughly then and make sure actually stuff is... Because the problem I'm getting is stuff is printing, but it's just not printing at the quality I would expect. There's a lot of pulling, a lot of tearing, a lot of blooming, which is really odd because pulling and tearing are normally a different cause to blooming. So I'm getting double errors, which is just not something I've ever experienced in all my time of doing these paints, the prints. So it's a real frustration. More than anything, I'm more annoyed because I'm not being able to get stuff out to people. I'm just like, erg. That's more brushing on than dry brushing. Why is that being so weird? It's a very wet paint. Where are we at? The top failed to print on it. What, for the Gargant? Not the film. No, I swapped out the FEP. FEP's fine. I've got a brand new sheet of FEP on there. Because that was my first thought, was that it was the FEP, not liked it. Yeah, I got a brand new sheet on there. It was the first thing I swapped out. And then I've just been having these weird issues where kind of like full models are printing, but the quality is just not great. It's hence why my concern is, has something happened with a have I actually got like a, basically has the resin become tainted? Has it got so hot in here that even if I've like kind of like shaken it and I've done different things to it, has the resin become something happened to it? So yeah, it's a tricky thing because I've done so much like researched and dialing in of my printer over the years that I've never really had to deal with much of this, because it's like I did it all at the start. So now all of a sudden with it being weird, I'm just like, why are you being weird? And you've got to kind of retroactively dial back and go back to things. So a lot of the troubleshooting tips are, have you tried this? And it's like, well, I already do that, so there shouldn't be a problem. It's just like, why you do this to me, printer? Yeah, hopefully I can get stuff sorted. It's more frustrating because it's just, I've probably wasted about 1 kilo of resin just trying different things, and it will calibrate fine, and then just the actual print is just bizarre. So it's just like, I wish it was just one problem. When it comes through, I'm probably going to get myself, pick up stock up on a few consumables, and depending on how much, I may get a big resin mini. Ooh. Have you got a particular resin mini in mind? Give this a good check. Oh, wow. Ooh, that is a big resin mini. That's a very big resin mini. Or a Thunderhawk. That's very cool. Big projects for those. You don't want to try and find the old metal Thunderhawk? Go for the resin one. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if we see plastic Thunderhawk or Warhounds in the next 3 years. I reckon it's on the radar for G-dubs. This dry brush is not giving me the style I want on here. No! Yeah, I reckon it'll happen. I reckon plastic will be a thing. I don't know if they necessarily need to, but I think it's more of a, they probably want to just go, well, we can, and let's experiment with it a little bit. Especially if it can make the product more accessible to more of the market. They're probably thinking, oh, that would be a good thing to do. But then again, I feel like the other part of me is also thinking, well, the whole point of a kind of, a Titan or a Thunder or a big resin sculpt like that is it's meant to be like kind of like a hobby goal. You do right at the very, not at the end, but you do when you've got a bit more like kind of confidence in the hobby. Don't want to say the word experience, but yeah. Oh no, that's the metal. That's fair. I think the Reaver would be too big. Ooh, Reaver would be cool. Yeah, metal. The classic metal Thunderhawk. That was, you could only, isn't it back in the day that to get that you had to send off like for a mail order request in the magazine to get it? There's not many of them floating around either. The end. Congrats, you completed painting. That was kind of it, yeah. It's kind of like you when you get to that confident level of like, this is the biggest thing I've ever painted. Now what do I do? It's like, I've done. It's like that scene from, what was it, the South Park episode of Make Love Not Warcraft. What do you mean? Now we can finally play the game. The reality that everybody has when they finally finish painting their Warhammer army. Like, and done. Ah, great. Now what? What are you talking about? Now I can finally play the game. They're just farming Gorn. Gorn? What's Gorn? Oh, I've heard that name before. Why have I heard that name? Gorn. You've painted the biggest thing you can. You can kitbash the biggest thing you can. Trust me on this. That's true. Ah, Star Trek Frontier. They're fair. Gorn. How are you? I'm very excited for the Star Trek Magic the Gathering cards later this year. I have to admit, I'm like the idea of that you could potentially open up a collector booster and get a card signed by either Kate Mulgrew or Patrick Stewart, or things like that is kind of mind blowing a little bit. And I think like the set looks really fun as well. Jar Jar Mammook. That's it. I think that's it. Once you've done the Titan, it's like, what can I now kit bash into silliness? Jar Jar Mammook. I mean, Jar Jar Titan, right? Jar Jar Warlord Titan. War Jar Titan. That's it. Misa the big boomba now. I think that's it though. If I had like a Warlord Titan, I would just do a Jar Jar pilot. Everything else would look completely normal, and then somebody would like open up the helmet and just look in and just see this Jar Jar there as the pilot. Like, yeah, oh, hello. Misa, okay now. That would just be the funniest thing. Just people be like, why did you do this to your very expensive £1,500 model? And I was like, because I can. Not that I have £1,500 to spend on a model. That is a ridiculous amount of money at this moment in time in my life to spend on a miniature. If I had £1,500, I would be buying a new car. Now that my car is... Wah. Jarlord. Bombard Pattern Warlord. That is it. Using free will correctly. That's the one. Like, I have the free will. I can do the thing. The upside with the Titans as well is because you can buy different heads. I could just buy a secondary head and have it magnetized on as a Jar Jar. Dun, 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 dun. Hearing the Halo music in the background. Has anybody played the Halo campaign Evolved since it was released this week? And I suppose interesting, is anybody playing it for the first time if you've never played it before? Because obviously now it's available on consoles outside of Xbox. I'm like, is anybody how are people finding it? And I'm gonna have to hopefully I can get the wash on here properly to get the gold shaded to the same level I need it to. Dun, dun, dun. Now I just want to play Age of Empires. Now I'm hearing this song in the background. So the downside sometimes of my playlist is it just makes me want to play video games. Not a bad thing, but it's a lot of the time I'm like, I want to do things. still think it's one of the probably the best RTS games of all time. In my opinion, Age of Empires 2, Age of Kings. Oh. The fact it's still getting DLC now is crazy. It's had 2 remasters as well. That's how good that game is. They were like, oh yeah, no, we peaked. Like 3 was fun. I like the story for 3, but the gameplay for 2 is just iconic. And then 4 is basically like an updated version of 2 with some different features. And most people still just enjoy 2. They're like, we'll just keep releasing some more content for Age of Empires 2 and see what happens, right? Dun, dun. Okay, I think that's mostly the gold bits painted in. A few areas where it could go a little bit pushier with the gold. Once that's dried, I can just cover this with the darkening shade, and then go back over the areas where like the dirtier gold has been kind of scraped and damaged in the fall. There's a little part of me here that's like, do I pick out this underside bit here gold to kind of really nail in the marble? But I think I'm going to be okay. I think more than anything afterwards, what I might do there is just add in some extra shading. Speaking of the shade, where's my aged metal shade? There it is. Get some of that on there. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that was not what I was expecting. Oh, okay, cool. I just had a random email saying an update on your Darkest Dungeon board game, and my brain just melted a bit. The first thing I ever backed on Kickstarter ended up going horribly wrong, and I only received half of the game because Mythic Games are just a terribly, truly awful company. But then, because it's now basically been picked back up by the people who created the video game Darkest Dungeon, they're trying to be like, well, we're not responsible for this. We want to try and do some bits that we can. So they're like, every now and again you get an email going, we've now made like digital files for a bunch of stuff, like we don't have to do this, but it's free for obviously for you guys because you paid for the pledge and whatnot. Whilst they can't produce the miniatures and the other half of the model, their board game are missing, it is nice that they're trying to do something. I still get confused every time I see an email update. I'm like, what? That's a good scrub. I saw was it Daka took down one of their Kickstarters earlier this week. Because they were like, they didn't feel like it was actually quite ready. They put it up and they were like, actually, no, we need to do more work on it. So they took it down. Nobody's pledges were taken or anything because and then they've like walked away from it. They're going to bring it back next year. Kind of interesting that they kind of got that far and then were like, oh, we're going to take a pause. But cool that they thought maybe this wasn't quite right. Still more communication than Simon gave me with God of War. Oof. Have you still not had anything about that? What's going on with that? Did they just give you a refund or what happened? Oh, my leg's gone to sleep. You can tell I'm nearly in my mid-30s. My leg's gone to sleep. I would say nearly. I'm in my mid-30s. I accept it. Don't want to be, but I am. Last update was a year ago. I emailed the other day asking about refund, as many others have done so, but nothing. Ugh. That's so annoying. It's like, just give some clear communication. So frustrating. Especially for what was a big company like Simon Games and stuff. There's so much, like, just do it properly. Like, just let us know what's going on, right? I hope it gets resolved eventually. Have they given any indication on what is going to happen, or is it just all completely up in the air? Yeah, pack that in. I've got a solid decade on you. Doesn't change the fact I'm still in my mid-30s. I'm an old man. My leg just keeps going to sleep. I'm like, eh. Probably deficient in something. That's probably what my body's doing. Like, you're deficient in things. Like, would you like to tell me what? No. So when your computer goes, we've shut down due to an error. Oh, what was the error? I don't know. That's what my body's doing these days. CEO spent all the funds on like NFTs and crypto. Pfft. I mean, idiots. These people should not be allowed to run companies. Did actually just thinking here about kind of ideas for stuff that's been in. Sorry, Simon Games took me to board games because we chatted about board games, and then the board games took me to the World of Warcraft board game, which then took me to the announcement this week that there is going to be a Dungeons and Dragons World of Warcraft collaboration. And I'm like, that sounds absolutely awesome. A World of Warcraft tabletop RPG using the rules of D&D. Like, what a brilliant combo, right? Absolute 10 out of 10 combo. And because obviously Hasbro own Wizards of the Coast, and obviously they are, involved in D&D and stuff, well, it does make me think there's a possibility we could get Magic the Gathering World of Warcraft next year. We haven't had a World of Warcraft trading card game, a Warcraft trading card game in a long, long time. So I'm just saying. That would be an IP that I think would go really well together. Last update said more refunds equals longer development, so willing to say I've lost £250, but Cyberpunk is still going strong. Oof. If it helps, everything gets better in your 40s. Hell yeah! I got that to look forward to. If I make it a 40. Do you know what? You're not alone in saying that. A lot of people say that, like, when you get to your 40s, everything just kind of clicks and everything's just a bit easier, and by that point, you kind of you're in this lovely little threshold of your, like, life is just easier and simpler in your 40s. I'm like, you know what? That's good. No, I'm not wishing my life away in any way, shape, or form, but I really hope that is true. So when I do hit my 40s, everything's just a little bit easier. That'd be kind of nice. Right, let's leave that to dry. It's a very heavy wash on that gold to make it shiny. Verity is redeemed. Ooh, feed my cardboard crack addiction. Okay, hold on, give me a second just to wipe my hands, and then I'll give you some pack choices. Then we can be like, ooh. Move that over there a second. Out of the way. World of Warcraft crypto scam, you say? By which I mean you stop caring about falling apart. Oh, that's fair. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons plus World of Warcraft feels like jelly and jam. Like, aren't they basically the same thing? Hashtag RageBay. I mean, I believe it fits though, doesn't it? I feel like if you're gonna do, because I don't think there has been a WoW D&D RPG game before. If there has, I'm not aware of it. But I feel like doing a D&D World of Warcraft expansion feels great. I love that idea. Anytime D&D is mentioned these days, I'm worried that Pinkertons are going to kick my door down. Why are Pinkertons going to kick your door down? What's happening here? Right, Verity, your choices are... What have I got here? Your choices today, if I can find the packs. Where have all my packs gone? I think I only have 3 packs in here. I do only have 3 packs in here today. Okay, so Verity, your choices for packs for today to crack are Lorwyn Eclipsed, Assassin's Creed, or Secrets of Strixhaven. They are only 3 I currently have available. Choose your pack. Yeah, what would you like to see me open? Ooh. Why did I just get a head rush out of nowhere? Just drink some water. Assassin's Creed time. Let's go. Assassin's Creed, one of the first Universes Beyond sets they did, and these fancy little small Beyond booster packs. The best things we could probably pull from here are a Sword of Feast and Famine, which is about a 30 quid card. The Excalibur, the Sword of Eden or something, or the Excalibur sword would be really cool to see. Or, for me personally, I would love to see any of the Ezio or the Torre da Firenze. There's like 3 different Ezios in here, but I'd like that one if I could pull that. So, are we ready? Are you steady? Let's see what we got today. So, we're kicking off with Eagle Vision. It's actually a really nice card with the free running, because you can cast it for its free running cost. It's just draw 3 cards. Great way to top your hand up. Propaganda. Which is what they say up north when you want to have a look at something. Hey, should we go have a propaganda? That's what we do. That's such a bad joke. Towering Viewpoint. Ooh, love that artwork. The Leap of Faith. Oh, that's lovely. I love that artwork. It's kind of wild how many other games were inspired by the climb up to the top of this area, have a look around, and that then like loads that part of the map. So many games in the years since their Assassin's Creed did it the first time, and now do that. Oh, so sorry. I don't know what's happened. I've just got a stabbing pain behind my eye. Ooh, that's pretty. Nurturing Peatland. That's really nice. That's one of the scene land cards. That's really lovely. I love that. That extended. Ooh, that's pretty. Very, very, very nice. I like that a lot. That's really, really lovely. And we have, ooh, the Animus. The Animus. The thing that you lie in to go into the woods. This is a good pack so far. It's really, really cool. Oh, I like that a lot. That's really, really nice. Double a 2. And then we have, ooh, Sigurd, Jarl of Ravensthorpe. This is a great pack. I'm on 3 rares so far. There's only like 7 cards in the pack, so this is pretty cool. Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. Boast. Put a lore counter on a saga you control or remove one from it. Oh, that's nice. That's really, really cool. Then we have Roshadan, the Hidden Magister, as our Animus-style future frame. And then followed by an art card. It's a really nice art card. What have we got here? This is Cathartic Reunion. I do like art cards. I miss sets not having art cards in here as much anymore. I used to like the set boosters for the art cards, because I would always try and collect every art card from a set. There we go, Verity. That's a good pack. That's a really nice pack, I think, on that one. That's probably one of the best packs of Assassin's Creed we've had in a while. So, nice picking. Go, Verity. Go, Verity. Put that over there. Leave that to still dry. Let's go drink some more water. I do not know what's happened there. A proper piercing behind my eye. All of a sudden. Oh yeah, the guy pulled an unreleased card from a legit Magic Pack of Wizards of the Coast sent Bounty Hunters. Yes. That's it. Hobbytime has a token combo, so that doesn't exist on the list. So we just need to go to hiding. Yeah, that's it. I've got a weird card that doesn't exist on the official Magic like library of the Magic Arcanum. You can look at and go, here's a list of every Magic card that exists. We have a card that doesn't exist that we pulled out of the pack, which is really cool. Brain cells trying to escape. Oh no, I hope not. I need them. They're very precious to me, the brain cells. Definitely need to keep a hold of those. But yeah, I know. I remember that about the somebody had yeah, there was a couple of things, wasn't it? It's the different, like, people getting stuff like ahead of time. It's one of the things that I do think Magic is. I think generally companies overall, and maybe this is kind of going to sound like a bit of an old man moany moment. Whilst I understand that influencers and content creators get stuff ahead of time to kind of build up some hype, I definitely think there are some companies, and I think Wizards might be one of them, where they've kind of released stuff to content creators too early. Like, the Hobbit set isn't even out yet. And I've already seen people, like, I'm almost sick of seeing people open packs of it, like, on my my like feed and stuff. It looks like it's going to be a really fun pack, but it's just like people have already got booster boxes, collector booster boxes. They're already pulling like the cards where there's only like 150 of those cards in the set, and things like that. And it does kind of get me a little bit like, just dial it back by just a week or two. You know, I think GW have a good thing where they kind of go, okay, we're going to put it up for pre-order. In 2 weeks' time, it will be available for it'll be released. In the week before it's released, people will they'll start putting up ones they've sent out to like influencers and content creators. I feel that's not too bad because you don't get sick of the model then. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But I think Wizards, yeah, they go a little bit too far in stuff getting being released early. Sometimes I think to the point where like it seems to be a common topic of conversation amongst like friends and stuff, where like the hype is like they're already like previewing stuff for the last set of the year and stuff. Yeah, I disagree. GW have it wrong because they missed us at the influencer loop. That is true. That is true. Yeah. I mean, where's our stuff, GW? Send us things. I'd have to actually work to a timeline to get stuff done then. Be like, oh no! Like, I gotta go. I gotta crack on and get things done. Yeah, that's fair. Where's my brain? Ooh. Ooh. My brain's just like. Where are we at? So, just waiting for this to dry. I can go back in with some highlights. And then. No, my luck, they sent me a bunch of Space Marines I have no inspiration for. You're like, here's a bunch of stuff now, man. Do the thing. And you're just like, I don't want to do anything to these. I saw actually just the Wind Waker song playing in the background. It's made me think of have you seen they've added Super Mario Sunshine onto the GameCube library on the Switch expansion pass? I know that you really liked when we did our Super Mario Sunshine game stream a little while ago. I remember you were like, yeah. Yeah, they've just added Super Mario Sunshine onto the GameCube pass. I think yesterday? Hold on. When is it going up? Oh, sorry, August 13th. August 13th. So they announced it today. Apologies. They've announced that it's going on there, and it'll be on there as of August 13th. Be part of the GameCube Classics. Oh, what's on the GameCube Classics so far? Nintendo GameCube Classics so far are Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Wario World, Luigi's Mansion, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, great game. There's not many. There's only 9 games on it so far, and Mario Sunshine will be the yeah, Super Mario Sunshine. Pokemon Colosseum is also what? Upcoming games: Pokemon Colosseum, Super Mario Sunshine. Oh wait, maybe we'll play Pokemon Colosseum on stream. That could be a really fun. Pokemon Colosseum is one of those games where I think they just did everything really, really. It was such a unique twist on the Pokemon games. I'm so ooh. When's the release date for that? It's in the upcoming games. Where are we at? GameCube Classics. They announced when it's going to be added? No, they haven't said anything yet. It's on the upcoming list, but there's not a date for it. Okay, interesting to know. That's going to be so good. That's it. That's the upcoming games. Super Mario Sunshine, Pokemon Colosseum. That's all we got. This is all we have. It's here's the list of everything that currently exists on it. These 9 games, and then down here it's just upcoming games. Super Mario Sunshine, which they announced the release date for is the 13th of August, and Pokemon Colosseum. Hey, Avian, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Cat required. I'll have to get Verity to give the pets, because Milkshake's not in the room. But do you want to see a cute picture of him, though? He did something really fun today. You had fun. He was a very lazy boy. Thank you for the 3 stream streak as well. Where are we at? Yay, giving points for asking cat pets. Points are greater than the cat pet redeem. Yeah, Milkshake was very cute today. So, for context, whenever I come home, or we come home, we have like a door from the ground floor, just like a hallway, and then we have steps up to our flat. And it's all like kind of, it's all accessible, which is great. Milkshake's favourite place to perch is right at the top of the stairs. And normally what happens is we look up at the stairs and he stands up and he pokes his head round and he's like, meow, meow, where have you been? Meow, 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 give me fusses and food. It's really cute. Today, he was obviously very sleepy because he decided to not even bother to get up. Yeah, it's like, he just basically was like, what up? How you doing, Poppy? Meow. What occurring? Meow. Meow. He didn't even bother getting up. So he was very lazy, bless him. He was just like, it's hot today, father. No, I'm just gonna chill. It's like, I can understand that, Shakems, but still, come on now. Oh, bless him. He was a very little cute little guy. Milkshake, who is this avian and why does he want me to receive pets? He's like, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy to receive pets. How are you doing though today, avian? How's things? Oh, God, headaches come out of nowhere. Ooh. Do. Yeah, father, I am hot. It is warm. Father, I am very warm. Just gonna pick out a couple of bits here. Adding some highlights onto this model, just to make the gold pop a bit more. Ooh. Do you need me to bring you anything? If it headache, no, I should be okay. I think I'll give it another. I'll give it another five minutes or so, and if it starts to struggle, then I'll take a breather and grab some. Do the usual, caffeine, salt, sugar. Kind of check everything. Caffeine, salt, sugar. If not, pain meds. I don't think it's one of my... I'm hoping it's not one of my migraine attacks, because that normally hits a bit harder right initially, so I'm feeling that we might be alright. So, but thank you for the offer, though. It's a milkshake doing some sort of voodoo. Would a milkshake hat work for Lewis's headache? Oh, you know what? Actually, it was quite funny yesterday. I picked milkshake up, and I just kind of threw him over my shoulder. So his like paws were back here, just kind of chilling, and he's like, I was just holding his like butt. Oh, he fell asleep. He was so happy. He was just like, this is a great time. And he's not normally, he normally likes being picked up in certain ways, but that's the first time he's got that comfy, just like being over the shoulder. Bless him. He was just like, yes. So he wasn't quite a milkshake hat, but he wasn't far off. I put him on my head before. It's very funny. It's all right, newbie. You don't ever have to apologize. I hope you are having a really nice time playing games. I mean, you know what? I hope you're having a really satisfactory time. I said the thing. I feel like it's one of those games that people get really engrossed in. I'm stuck on an idea of which army to explore next. I have an orc idea and an exodite idea. The exodites will make logical sense because a lot of the leftover parts will be good for the orcs afterwards. But I'm fairly certain if I wait 12 months, we'll see a full exodite army. That is very true. I guess, yeah. I mean, you've been chatting about the orc idea for some time, so I guess my brain is like, would you do the orcs? But then I also get your like concern there of like, well, I feel like it kind of makes sense if you're gonna have leftover parts for the orcs. That would be useful, but I do agree with you. I think it wouldn't surprise me until we see a full exodite army at some point soon. Given that they've obviously hinted at it quite heavily. Like the initial models being released for it. It has been very productive. Nice. Lewis, do you have any cool Desolation Marine kitbash ideas? I figured the firstborn Devastators will be phased out soon. Ooh. Because they're very like just holding the rocket launchers, aren't they? So they're cool to kitbash. For me, I like the idea of kitbashing them. Do you know Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, where he has the shoulder-mounted like rocket? Like one of them like that is really cool. I feel like some cool reloading poses, if you can get any of those in, or I'll tell you what, you know what they look really nice with. They look really nice kitbashed with some of the heavier armor that's available. Like give them maybe the boots from like a heavy intercessor. But because they're not wearing heavy intercessor armor, but they look like they're a little bit more. They look like they've almost planted in the ground to fire this big weapon. I've seen some really nice kit bashes for those. I have them. I've not kit bashed mine yet though, so I'm not sure what the kit bashing ability of that sculpt is. Of those sculpts are. I just think they almost need a little bit of bulking out. Yeah, I kind of hope that the old heavy squad doesn't get phased out soon. I'm 100% certain that the release plan for Exodites is the same as those of Gene Stealer Cults and Krieg. Did them as part of a box game to measure interest, then did a full range when it was successful. That's fair. I feel like as much as I'm excited for some Exodites and stuff, I really wish they would explore the Ynnari a bit more. Don't get me wrong, I like the Exodites, and them releasing them is very cool. That they're not that they're officially becoming canon, but you know what I mean. That they are going to be more available for people. But I really would love to see them explore the Ynnari a bit further again. I think the downside with the Ynnari is they've always been notoriously difficult to balance rules-wise. So I think, unfortunately, they've just kind of suffered a little bit as a result. But I think they're such cool sculpts. I was considering taking gun parts from the last few seals, as well as having one that's more, that's not fun for the opponent. Kind of like mortar style. Oh, yeah, I merged two things there. I was considering taking all the gun parts and making them into a mortar. I like that idea. The thing is, I lean into using the eliminators as last few seals, as well as having more. One unit is not fun for the opponent. Yeah, that's alright though. Is it fun for you? That's the important thing. I like the idea of the mortar style. Like maybe some chapter serfs helping reload them or something. Or if you've got any of the old Stern card kit floating around, have you got like the Armororium Cherub? Just kind of could be a bit of fun. Add that on to kind of like reloading one of the rockets. It feels like that's a them problem. That's exactly it. That's a them problem. I always stand by this when people are like, "Oh, this army isn't fun to play against." I'm like, right, but it's still a valid army. It's fine. Like, it's like people are like, yeah, well, so therefore, kind of in your army building, you should factor in that you are going to have to sometimes play against an army that is not fun to play against. Isn't the right word. That is not fun for your army to play against, because your army will inevitably have a weakness. It's effectively just rock, paper, scissors, Lizard Spock with more rules. That is all Warhammers. And I mean that with from a position of a lot of love for the game. Gold's popping a little bit better now, I think. Right, now imagining a cherub going a bit too much in front of the shell and it is now being propelled. Ooh, I like that. Ooh. Why's my thing broken? There was an error with Spotify. Oh no, it's called back up. Sorry, this is a random thing. Error! Sorry for the awful grammar. I've got paint pots around my keyboard. That's alright. I'm sorry for the awful grammar. I don't even have my keyboard. I do Codex Eldari Outcasts or something similar, including Corsairs, Exodites, Harlequins, in the same style that we got Imperial Agents. Yeah, I agree. I think, like, because otherwise, Codex Eldari either is going to need a purge at some point, because otherwise it's going to be one of the biggest codexes, even bigger than Marines, and Marines had to have a purge recently, didn't they? It is the second biggest army, because I get it is also one of the most popular armies out there, as for Xenos is, but I'm also like, at some point they're going to have to tone it down a wee bit. And I just really like the I quite liked it when Harlequins were their own army, but I know that when there was a lot of feedback from the people who played Eldari quite a lot, who said the downside is that you ended up, if you wanted to take like a Ynnari force, you had to carry like 5 codexes and a supplement, and I was like, I can get that. That would be frustrating. Few little spots of like scratches. Okay, I think we're getting in there. They need to start looking at the Eldar in the same way as the Imperium. You don't get Codex Imperium, you get all the sections split off into their own factions. The Eldar need that. I feel like they kind of do, don't they? They had it at the one point, but yeah, I'm with you on that. They kind of almost need that now. Hello there! How are we doing? Thank you for the follow. I hope you are well. But no, I agree. I feel like they need a bit of a a separation, because they are a very cluttered codex. You know, they're lucky in the sense that they have got that much kind of, you know, freedom and stuff in there. But I do agree that the Eldari codex is large. Yeah, and I think it'd be cool to have a couple of I don't think we need to go back quite to the level where we had Codex Harlequins, Codex Drukhari, Codex Supplement Yunari, Supplement you know, whatever. I think it would just be, I think with you have Craft Worlds, Codex Eldar Craft Worlds, Codex Dark Eldar, and then Codex. Yeah, Outcast is a good way to do it, of non-Craft World, like Craft Worlds like Eldari, because then like just to thin it out a little bit. That would be a good way of doing it. Some various shadows, just a very thin down black ink. I guess probably isn't the right word, but yeah, I don't know what the word would be, because you've got Craft Worlds and just what non-Craft Worlds feels a bit too non-specific. Like, I don't think it would work. Codex Craft Worlds, Codex. Just maybe that's just it. Codex Eldari, Craft Worlds, Codex Eldari. That's just it. Like not non-Craft Worlds. Outliers, yeah. I'm trying to think what it would be. Because any Craft Worlds would just be like all of the Phoenix Lords. I mean, technically, Morgan Ra's Craft World is now back, so you can count on that. Yeah, all of the Phoenix Lords, Wraith Knights, Wraith Lords, like anything that exists just from a Craft World point of view. Maiden Worlds, but or extras, I don't know. Auxiliary? No, because then that kind of demotes them, thinking that their only purpose is to be an auxiliary force. I can't think what the words for it will be. It's interesting. It feels like they're pivoting away from the Yunari and delving into a rogue trader 2nd edition history. The Eldritch Raiders, aka the Eldar Pirates and the Exodites. I get that vibe. They kind of feel like they ran a bit with the Yunari, and then kind of went, yep, moving on to the next bit. But they never really closed out the Yunari story. I didn't need to close it, but it would just be nice if they did something with it, if that makes sense. Because it is a very beloved, like by a lot of Eldar players. They do really like the Yunari, and they're like, you know, oh, what's going on with it? What's next? What are we doing? What's Yurvain up to? Is she, you know, has she found any more of the Crone Zords? It's been really cool to see what happens next. The solution is just name the Codex Eldari and boom, done. No third book needed. What, Codex Eldari and Codex Craft Worlds? And then what? Have Drukhari separately because they have their own. They have enough of their own lore. Because technically, I suppose the Yunari would be Craft Worlds because they're all the forces are chosen from the Craft Worlds. No, just Codex Eldari, Codex Drukhari. See, the only downside I find with that is the Codex Eldari is massive. That's the only thing. I mean, it's like it's bigger than the Space Marines Codex. Like at this point, and the Space Marines one has had to have a purge because of how big it was, and I'm nervous about what they're going to purge out of it. Especially if they're going to add Exodites into that now. You got Exodites, Harlequins, Yunari, Yeah, so what, Yunari, Exodites, Harlequins, Drukhari separate, which is fine, and then you're now going to add Craft Worlds. There's just a lot, isn't there? I mean, great, it's good that they've got that much stuff to fluffen out, but I feel like it is a lot in one book. Thinking normally when the books get this big, they kind of tend to purge out, like they did with Stormcast for in the Battle Tome for them for Age of Sigmar. We've seen it happen many times with Space Marines. They got thinned out a little bit. Oh no, I'm with you. I don't see that there's a problem. I feel like they inherently, normally when something gets that big, they do tend to thin it out. And I don't know how they're going to thin this out. I don't think it should be a force that loses anything because it's such a good ancient force. Like, it's the idea, you know, it's got that long history. I don't think they should lose anything out of it. It's just if they... I'm thinking more of the pattern that if they are going to do that, I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, to me, that is a Tomorrow GW problem. That is true. Well, I mean, this edition will be quite telling of what they do with it. If it is just Codex Eldari, then we've got a big Codex. That's fine. I hope they don't purge anything fun. One book does make life a lot easier. You know, we've seen it with the Orcs. The Orcs is a very sizable tome. So... you know, you got so many years of history on there. So it makes sense. Corsairs. Yeah, I forgot about the Corsairs. Yeah, Corsairs in there as well. Yeah, I like. That's the thing. I don't have a problem with a hefty tome. I think inherently based on how the actions GW normally take is something gets too big, they tend to go, right, let's thin something out. And I am slightly nervous that the Yunari will be the thing that gets thinned out. If they are, from a rules perspective, they can be a problem. I'm hoping they at least become just like a detachment. Detachment Yunari. Some riff on this Soul Burst that they used to have. Kind of move from there. If you take Yunari, you don't get the Craftwell benefits or something. Which would make sense. Okay, I think I'm a lot happier with that base. I think now that we've added in the gold, I think this looks a little bit more spaced out. Doesn't look quite so in your face, just nothing. Spending the time just to add in these little shades with the black ink has actually worked really well. Hopefully means I can make the marble areas pop as if they've been carved in there. Like carved in and placed onto the door. Oh, thank you, Beardy. Yeah, legends tend to happen that way and we don't want that. That's it, yeah. I feel like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, if they legend stuff... I don't know, it's one of those. I mean, this is us talking about it from a perspective of, I'm not even somebody who plays the Eldari as an army. I'm just thinking more like this must be a nightmare for the rules team to kind of figure out what to do. They're kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't. Okay, I think we are fairly good there. Just a smidge more detailing over here. Just really build up these cracks to show it's kind of like it's quite a damaged piece. Feels like this probably will be a bit more in keeping with everything else on the model now. That black was quite dark. It might sound a bit silly. That black was quite dark, obviously, but was a bit thicker than I wanted it to be. Right. Think I just need to add on all the gloss now to the marble. Make it shiny. And to do that, Mod Podge. Mod Podge gloss. Get a brush. I'm going to water it down slightly. Modge, 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 modge. Modge, 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 podge. Modge, podge. Modge, 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 modge. It's the same video names. I've attempted to tell Urs to change Muro's head to Jar Jar's. Oops, I did. Do it. Do it. Make it a Jar Jar. You know you want to. I have no Jar Jar custodies yet. Maybe we could do some at some point. It'll be the one time I decide to do like a really, really hyper detailed non-metallic metal custody, and then I'm just gonna make it Jar Jar. That's how it works, right? And I just realised my wet palette actually fully dried out. I hadn't even realised. We were saying that we were talking about future Jar Jars before. I need to finish the Jalrog. I'd like to finish the Jalrog by the end of summer. So I feel like August is the month that we finish the Jalrog. Get the base done. Get that really, really nice and all sort of done. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, get the Jalrog done. I think that's next. And then it's going to be the Jar Jar L. Johnson. And then after that, I don't know. Maybe a Mamuk. Maybe a Nazgul. Maybe something else, or they'll release something new. The great Jar Jar clean one. He would just look more like Boss Nass. So that'd be the idea of it. So I'm just trying to clean out this little metal dish before I pour all the Mod Podge and water in there. The Silent Jar Jar. I do have my my Silent King actually. He's I need to again. As with all. That's it. That's exactly it. But at the end, just it's Misa then screaming. Thank you, newbie. It's like, Nightbringer Jar Jar, especially with the new Nightbringer model, that could be hilarious. I haven't got the new Nightbringer model actually. I haven't done much on my Necrons in a while. Right, I've got to make sure here I've not accidentally just scraped some stuff on here. Right. Because this dry is very clear, glossy. Normally I can just kind of guide it to all the areas I need to take it to. Oops, a little bit poured off there. Because it doesn't need to be particularly thick. It just needs to go on here. I do, you know, the Norn Emissary can be. I have a different plan for the Norn Emissary and various Tyrannid models. I would love to get on and finish my Tyrannid, my Hive Tyrannids. It's just the parts for the conversion are just quite. Needing 2 sets of Mortarian's wings, they are surprisingly hard to come by on the spares parts for a reasonable price. And I refuse to buy a Mortarian just to rip his wings off him because I don't know what I'll do with the rest of him. Just grab a brush, start moving all this around. Ideally, I don't really want many bubbles or brush strokes, but this is very helpful just to shimmy stuff around. It's still this thick. I didn't want to happen some debris on that one. again. It's my own fault, I didn't fully clean out the thing. It's making the marble on the ruins also shiny. Luckily this will dry super glossy and hopefully smooth if I get the textures just right on it. Don't need it too thick. Just want to make it look like a glossy finish. Let's get this over here. Oops. What have I picked up there? A brush? What's that? Something very solid. What are you? It's a hair of some kind. It's a thick hair. Might be one of, is it one of my beard hairs randomly? I hope not. Oh, sort it. It's like it's a very thick hair. I'm like, a beard hair? It doesn't look like a milkshake hair. Just gonna make sure I don't get any the gloss on the gold. I don't want it on there. Just want it on only on the marble. Sculpt wings flat on the board, put pins to them, have Mortarian pinned, said moth display board. That would be a really cool way of doing it, yeah. That's a cool, actually, it's a good way to make use of Mortarian then. Yeah, a sec. Trying to get rid of the bubbles. Okay. All I can kind of hope at this point is I've not manipulated it too much, so I end up with brush strokes in it. I just want it. Luckily this area here doesn't matter that much because this is where the base is going to go. It's these edge pieces I want to make sure are really nice and glossy and smooth. Okay, right, now that just needs to be left to dry. And hopefully we can glue it all on the Sunday. It's going to take a little while to dry there. And hopefully it's dry nice and clear. But I feel, though, that's probably a good place to call it, especially as I cannot seem to shift this headache. So I feel this feels like a good position to stop. I forgot to take a picture of this before I put the glue on it. Annoyingly. So there we go. But yeah, so that is, we have made a good progress today. We a good old bunch of chinwagging and chatting, and we spent some time working on getting this base sorted. I'm really happy that we redid this base. I'm really, really glad we sat and we did it. We redid the full redo there, which is really nice. I feel like the it's going to look a lot nicer now, ready for the tank. Once the tank is on here, and then I can find the missing base over here. I can glue the custody over there. We've got the first 2 squads of the custodies done, which then kind of means that we just need to build the rest. I've still got the shield captain as the only one that's built and unpainted, and then I've still got another squad of Sodalities and the Galatus Dreadnought. So I think I might focus on the custodies for a little bit. I know we've been doing a lot of work on Blood Ravens recently, but I feel like I'm ready to just kind of pivot a little bit and just do a bit of work on custodies, flicking back and forth. Just because I know that the Blood Ravens, as nice as they are, they just take a little bit of work. But what we're going to do at this point, though, is we are going to raid off and spread some lovey love. Where are we heading off to? Where are we? Let us go. Where are we off to? We are off to... Yeah. Thank you for stream, so I accidentally napped for it. Do not worry, do not worry, you're all good. You nap all you want. You nap all you want. Where are we going to? I don't think where we're going to go say hello. Do 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 do. Where are we going? I think where we can go and say hello. Let's go. Sorry, my brain. I'm staring at the screen and my eye is like, ow, ow, ow. Just see if there's anywhere I can return a raid to. Let us go. Shall we go and say hello to somebody who is working on... We haven't raided them a little while. They're working on some... Where's my brain going? Fallout terrain. So for the Fallout Wastelands game. So let us go and have a look and say hello to... Let's go and have a look, say hello to the crazy MCR Angel, because they are working on some Fallout stuff, which is always nice to see, a little bit of a difference. So let us raid over and say hello. So let's go spread some love there. They are, if you haven't raided into one of Crazy streams before, they're really, really lovely. They do some great painting and fantastic cosplays. They're big Fallout fans, so it's always nice to go and raid over and see somebody who's sharing some of those cool minis. As a fair warning, obviously, as we are a bit more friendly adjacent, they are not. They do swear a little bit in their streams, but you guys are all adults. You're used to that by now. But yeah, they are really, really cool, and they paint up some fantastic models. So let us go and spread some love over to them. But for now, folks, thank you so much for today's stream. I really appreciate everyone who's been in, and we are back on Sunday as per normal, where we are going to be doing our Sunday showcase, having a look at all the gorgeous minis that you've been working on, and probably finishing off these custodies, which is going to be amazing. But for now, as always, folks, thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay safe, stay positive, and above all, be an ambassador for your hobby. It's been a pleasure, as always, painting for you folks and chatting away, but for now, let's go spread some love. Bye bye. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you, everyone. You're awesome. Good night to you all.